Unemployed College Students. Xiefeng, April 25, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. Happiness. Misery lurks beneath it. Misery. Happiness is to be found by its side. What I see is a bright future awaiting unemployed college students, a wonderful life that is incomparable. This is what I think, and I hope respected and dear unemployed college students can consider whether it makes sense. At this moment, you may be in a state of confusion, anxiety, uncertainty, restlessness, and disappointment. This is because you are carried along by the tides of the times. If you try to catch up with the tide or let others determine your fate, you will find yourselves in a sea of suffering. Not to mention reaching the other shore, you won't even be able to see where it is. First of all, you should understand that it is not your fault, nor your parents' fault, nor the fault of your school teachers and professors that you are unable to find a job. It is the fault of the times. Just like the blooming flowers wither in the spring, it is not the fault of the flowers, but the result of a cold spell. You may be inspired by another form of success studies, such as how to make a comeback, how to escape from the lower class, how to cross social barriers, and so on. I want to say that such motivation will only make your situation more difficult and miserable. Don't aspire to be superior to others, don't aim to live a life that others envy, don't expect to achieve financial freedom quickly, and don't anticipate starting your own business. These thoughts and actions are poison to life and will make everyone's existence even more unbearable. In front of you lies a life adorned with beautiful flowers. Endless is the sea of bitterness. Repent and you will find the shore. How do you repent? How do you reach the paradise-like shore of life? Once your roots establish yourself, the way will grow therefrom, and the way will guide you. Only seek to serve more people without desiring to earn more money. Reduce your material desires to the minimum. Live in a thatched hut, wear patched clothes, eat simple food, drink plain water. Refuse all luxury goods. If necessary, you can beg. Regard yourself as the most ordinary blade of grass in nature. Don't pursue romantic relationships, don't get married, don't start a family. Concentrate your efforts on establishing a foundation, inheriting the wisdom of the past, creating everlasting peace. Listen to the teachings of Jesus Christ, respect the Dharma of Shakyamuni Buddha, embrace the spirit of the Prophet Muhammad, and adopt the thoughts of the Taoist Saint Laozi. Regardless of how dark the world becomes, how fickle people's hearts are, how bleak the future appears, and how others may comment, dedicate yourself to unifying the world and ensuring the well-being of all people, allowing everyone to enjoy the blessings of life. Strive to make everyone possess everything while having nothing, and work hard to provide everyone with a means of livelihood. Regard labor as the foremost necessity of life. Adhere to this principle. The image of laborers is the most beautiful. Labor is the source of joy and happiness. Laborers possess the finest qualities. Engage in diligent work every day, create, and never allow yourself to be idle. Abandon laziness. Abandon getting something for nothing. Abandon seeking comfort and despising hard work, and abandon seeking quick gains. Sing the praises of all laborers in the world. Embrace unconventional thinking and indulge in wild imagination. Reversion is the action of the Tao. When the majority moves west, quickly move east. When the majority flock to the cities, quickly go to the countryside. When the majority prioritizes pragmatism, quickly prioritizes ideology. Whatever the majority criticize, quickly sing its praises, and vice versa. Distance yourself from money, power, fame, and profit, including distancing yourself from the wealthy, influential, famous, and powerful. Get closer to the most ordinary and common laboring masses. Reverse all the perspectives on life, values, worldview, outlook on life, and moral outlook that human society has established, and establish anew the 5 outlooks necessary for the highest level of civilized society. Then, you will discover the scenery of, just as the weary traveler despairs of finding a road, lo, a village appears, and the shade of willows and riotous flowers beckon. The path has been paved for you, and the future is definitely more beautiful than you imagine. If you find my words reasonable, follow the path I have laid out. If you think I am talking nonsense and misleading you, then continue the path you believe to be correct. 性的神力和魔力 The Power and Magic of Sex. Xiefeng, March 31st, 2021. Edited by Qin Yu. In the Bloodstream Sermon, Patriarch Bodhidharma said, "Nature, same as sex in Chinese, is Buddha. What propels society forward is sex. The universe is a dance of sex. The fulfillment of sex is the fulfillment of life and the fulfillment of the universe. In order for a person to become immortal, achieve enlightenment, and become divine, they must attain the fulfillment of sex." From the principle of Taiji, every life is polarized, either masculine or feminine. Only when the masculine and feminine unite can life become complete. The power of sex is immensely strong. It is impossible to transcend sex. It is self-deception. Sex possesses divine power and demonic power, which humans cannot control. Forcing control over sex will distort it and lead to sexual deviance. When sex is liberated, the world becomes peaceful, people become harmonious, and society becomes balanced and stable. Therefore, sexual freedom is both fundamental and ultimate freedom. Without sexual freedom, there is no personal freedom, no fairness or justice in society, and no possibility for individuals to become immortal, achieve enlightenment, or become divine. Thus, sex should bloom freely like wildflowers in the mountains and flow freely like rivers. Sex is amoral. Therefore, moral standards should not be imposed upon it. The following conclusions are derived from an insightful perspective on sex. They may be shocking, but I hope readers will not reject them based on outdated beliefs and moral standards. To determine their correctness, rational analysis and judgment should be employed. Respecting facts, examining them with a scientific spirit and logical abilities, and avoiding emotional reactions is crucial, as becoming emotional renders one unable to reason. The conclusion is as follows. Regarding anyone's sexual life and behavior, no matter how strange, bizarre, even absurd, or how promiscuous, licentious, immoral, or even deviant it may seem, as long as it does not harm others or society, as long as it is not forced and is willingly embraced by those involved, it should be tolerated and should not be condemned or even criminalized. For example, sexual intercourse between humans and animals, between a father and daughter, mother and son, grandparents and grandchildren, son-in-law and mother-in-law, and so on. For example, the fickleness of women and their involvement in multiple sexual relationships, the promiscuity of men and their involvement in multiple sexual relationships, and instances of infidelity within marriages, and so on. The myriad of unconventional sexual activities and patterns should be understood. Human society does not need to astonish or insult these individuals, nor should it hold them hostage to morality. I solemnly declare that I do not endorse the aforementioned sexual behaviors, but I can understand them. Those who have a full stomach have no idea how it feels to be hungry. The wealthy cannot truly experience the hardships and helplessness of the poor. Those with a full stomach cannot set standards for those who are hungry, and the wealthy cannot dictate norms for the poor. This is similar to how lions and tigers cannot establish behavioral guidelines for zebras and gazelles, and wolves cannot set boundaries for sheep. When the powerful drive of sex erupts, the best approach is to satisfy sexual desires. When satisfaction cannot be achieved, people will seek various ways to fulfill their intense sexual cravings. People do not desire to engage in sexual intercourse with animals. However, if conditions for sexual intimacy with humans are not present, they may resort to releasing sexual energy through intercourse with animals. If even that condition is unavailable, individuals may engage in sexual relations with their own daughters, sons, grandsons, granddaughters, uncles, aunts, mothers-in-law, nephews, nieces, and so on. As for infidelity or sexual relationships between masters and disciples, teachers and students, these are already considered quite normal phenomena. In the world of women, sex workers are a group of extraordinary women because they provide countless men with sexual fusion and satisfaction. They are considered great because they adhere to the principle that the higher the degree of shared experience, the greater the value. Therefore, it can be logically deduced that women who engage in sexual relationships with more men and men who engage in sexual relationships with more women should be affirmed and should not be subjected to condemnation or persecution. Human beings should prioritize reality. Once individuals reach maturity, they enter a stage of sexual needs. Maximizing the acquisition of sexual energy not only leads to happy and fulfilling lives for each person, but also promotes a harmonious and stable society that progresses towards civilization. The prerequisite for human civilization is sexual freedom. Without sexual freedom, human civilization cannot be achieved. Sex is a form of energy and a resource that is inexhaustible. However, when individuals monopolize sexual resources, the resource becomes particularly scarce. Once it becomes scarce, it is inevitable that animal mating and incestuous behavior cannot be eradicated, and the trading of sex cannot be avoided, which leads to troubles, anxieties, pains, and even crimes. Of course, the more sexual partners one has and the higher the frequency, the higher the risk of contracting sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV/AIDS. This negative consequence can be addressed through a program, such as requiring sexual health certificates for sexually mature individuals. This is achievable. However, it is not appropriate to abstain from sexual activities solely because there is a risk of contracting sexually transmitted diseases, just as one does not stop eating because eating can cause various illnesses. Life is like a dream. All space directions are void. We should have full experiences and live our life to the most so that we won't have regrets when we leave the earth. Being satisfied and dying blissfully is better than being consumed by worries and regrets. 一求64智论人类生存模式 One Earth, 64 Systems. On the Mode of Human Survival. Xiefeng. April 13th, 2021. Edited by Qin Yu. Inspired by the concept, One Country, Three Systems of Mr. Li Liangbin, who is from Jinshi Province, let us explore the future mode of human survival. The most ideal life mode for humanity in the future is the Xiefeng-style communism. However, before that, we can implement the One Earth, 64 Systems as a transitional mode. The so-called One Earth, 64 Systems implies that there can exist 64 different life modes on Earth. Let's examine the following scenario. In a circle, there are cows, horses, donkeys, sheep, pigs, dogs, chickens, ducks, and geese. Due to their different habits, food preferences, and physical characteristics, conflicts, arguments, and fights often arise between them. Chickens, ducks, and geese often complain that sheep, pigs, and dogs trampled on their eggs. Sheep, pigs, and dogs frequently lament that cows, horses, and donkeys snatch their food. Cows, horses, and donkeys often grumble about chickens, ducks, and geese defecating in their feeding troughs. All the animals blame each other for excessive flatulence, making it unbearable for anyone. As a result, no one is leading a good life, and it becomes impossible to live under such circumstances. To solve the above problems, moral education is futile and ineffective. The best approach is to separate them and provide each animal with its own enclosed space, corresponding to their species. This way, we can avoid mutual complaints and torment. The human species has some similarities to the livestock mentioned above. Some people prefer the capitalist way of life, while others prefer the primitive tribal lifestyle, socialism, communism, anarchism, democracy, dictatorship, rice, noodles, meat-based diets, vegetarian diets, monogamy, polygamy, or polyandry. The list goes on. When individuals with diverse preferences are forced into the same mode, conflicts, arguments, and even physical fights are unavoidable. The way to eliminate contradictions and conflicts among individuals is to allow them to live in their respective spheres where they can find peace and happiness. Therefore, my idea is the One Earth, 64 Systems approach. For example, all white people could gather in Europe, black people in Africa, and yellow people in Asia. This would eliminate racial discrimination. Those who prefer the capitalist system could come together to engage in capitalism, while those who prefer the socialist system could come together to practice socialism, and those who prefer the communist system could come together to pursue communism. Similarly, those who embrace Christianity could gather in one place, those who follow Islam could gather in another place, and those who practice Buddhism could gather in yet another place, and so on. Likewise, those who enjoy noodles could eat noodles, those who prefer rice could eat rice, those who enjoy meat-based diets could come together, and those who prefer vegetarian diets could gather as well. Those who prefer monogamy could form their own society, Those who prefer polygamy or polyandry could form their own society, and those who advocate for a society without marriage could form their own community for shared relationships. In this way, just like providing separate spaces for cows, horses, donkeys, sheep, pigs, dogs, chickens, ducks, and geese, humans no longer need to argue and fight with each other due to differences in personality, interests, and so on. Why 64 systems? Because human survival requires 64 elements, and none can be omitted. Do you see it? Cows, horses, donkeys, sheep, pigs, dogs, chickens, ducks, and geese are arguing together without any value or meaning, and their arguments will never end. Arguments between humans are also without value or meaning. The best solution is to live our own lives according to our own preferences. Can the above ideals be realized? Certainly not, because those in power won't allow it. Therefore, this proposal is only meant to bring some amusement to everyone when they have enough to eat and drink and have nothing else to do. 把每件小事做完美，你就是非凡之人. Completing every little thing perfectly makes you extraordinary. Xiefeng. April 23rd, 2021. Edited by Qin Yu. As someone in their 60s, I have some life insights and experiences to share with young people, which will undoubtedly benefit you greatly. The most valuable insight and experience from my half-century of life is that by completing every little thing you do perfectly, you become an extraordinary individual, and your life path will only grow wider as you continue. What are the small things you should strive for perfection in? The answer is that every small thing you do each day should be worth doing perfectly. Here are some examples. When interacting with others, whether serving or cooperating with them, always make an earnest effort to bring joy and satisfaction to others. This is especially true when dealing with your superiors, elders, or those who excel in their careers. Let them know that you respect them and are willing to serve them. When performing tasks, never have even the slightest hint of complaints or half-heartedness. When collaborating with others, be willing to give more and enjoy less, making the experience comfortable and valuable for the other person. When interacting with your blood relatives, such as parents, children, siblings, and other relatives, or with your spouse, in-laws, and their relatives, do not focus on personal interests. Instead, give your utmost effort to do things well to the best of your ability. Never expect rewards. Simply express your best qualities and make everyone feel secure and comfortable when they are with you. Most young people will work for private employers or become government employees as civil servants. Regardless of the character of your boss or immediate superiors, regardless of your salary and other benefits, and regardless of whether the working environment satisfies you or not, you should strive to perform the tasks you are engaged in to the highest possible level. Never think that you are working for your boss or the country, or that your efforts are not worth it. Either quit and leave, or put your heart and soul into doing the job well. Whether in interpersonal relationships or in your work, always remember that there are one or several pairs of eyes constantly watching you. Even when you are alone, there are eyes watching. This is the secret I discovered after becoming a guide in Life Genuine. Moreover, be aware that the people watching you are not those of lower or equal level to you. They are always more advanced and outstanding than you. They are the ones who determine whether your future will be smooth. If you fail to do small things well, your path will become narrower as you go. But if you excel in every little thing, your path will widen as you move forward. Every word spoken and every action taken by a person is recorded in the detention information space. Even if tens of thousands of years pass or the Earth disappears, everything recorded in the detention information space will not disappear. Once a word is uttered or an action is taken, it is impossible to change it. Nowadays, the online world and platforms like WeChat provide a vast space for us to showcase our talents. However, we must be vigilant because every word we speak in the online world or in WeChat groups, etc., will influence our future. Every word and every action pave the way for our future. Speaking perfectly and doing every little thing perfectly paves the way to heaven, while speaking and acting in an ugly way paves the way to hell. As I said before, what information you input into the world determines what results the world will give you. Therefore, Be cautious with every word you speak and put your heart and soul into completing every little thing perfectly. Every word we speak and every action we take fully reflects our inner world and life qualities. It is important to be aware that sometimes a single word we speak or a small thing we do can change the trajectory of someone's life. All the words we say and the things we do collectively shape the trajectory of our lives. Extraordinary lives are those who complete every little thing perfectly. 不幸是生命旅途上转折的起点. Misfortune is the starting point of turning points on the journey of life. Xiefeng, January 9th, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. As a guide in Life Genuine, I understand that Life Genuine members who follow the guide to climb the peak of life know that whether it's the articles I write or myself, everything is presented truthfully and transparently to the public. I have nothing to hide or conceal. I am transparent. I am real. There is no hypocrisy, no artificiality, no pretense, no schemes, no tactics. What I say may not be completely correct, and what I do may not be flawless, but what I say and do is a genuine expression of my true self. I speak out about the insights, experiences, and viewpoints I have gained on my journey of life, hoping that they may have some value as references. I experienced the years of hunger in 1958 and 1960 and almost starved to death. That was misfortune. However, the result of this misfortune is that I have found every meal I eat in my life to be delicious, whether it's the sour taste of Northern cuisine, the spicy taste of Central cuisine, or the sweet taste of Southern cuisine. Whether it's Chinese, Western, or African cuisine, they are all enjoyable. This is because I have a belief in my heart that simply having enough food to fill our stomachs in life is happiness. In 1980, I studied at Zhangjiago Geological Technical School, specializing in being a fitter. During one semester, I was assigned to the automotive repair workshop to learn car mechanics. The master had 2 apprentices, and one day the master asked his 2 apprentices to let me practice driving by taking the car to the school playground. The older apprentice explained to me how to operate the car and then got out of the car. However, the younger apprentice grabbed the steering wheel and started the car, practicing without ever letting me drive. During the practice, students from the fitter class and mechanic class came to the playground for physical education, and the younger apprentice was driving in a reckless manner. It was unfortunate for me that the younger apprentice didn't let me drive, but this misfortune saved me from disaster. Every time I think of that scene sitting in the driver's seat on the school playground, watching the younger apprentice nervously practicing driving, I am grateful that fate didn't let me drive that day. If the person holding the steering wheel had been me instead of the younger apprentice, I could have driven and hit many classmates, with terrible consequences. I might have been born with the qualities to become an official. During my primary school, middle school, technical school, college, and the first semester of university, I was almost always the class monitor. At the age of 18, I became the deputy secretary of a brigade managing 11 production teams. In 1984, I was designated as the director of the 3rd echelon in the geological hydrology 3rd team. In 1988, I was designated as the principal of a school for children of employees in the Geological Bureau. In 1992, I was designated as the director of a prospecting machinery factory. Unfortunately, I messed up all these positions because I didn't take those official positions seriously. Looking back today, this misfortune was actually a great blessing. If I had become an official at the time, according to what my wife said in 1993, I would have already been the governor of Gansu province. If that were the case, there would be a 90% chance that I would have become a corrupt official and could have ended up in prison. Even if I didn't end up in prison, my name would certainly be infamous throughout history. In 1994, while I was abroad, the official's vehicle broke down. I was asked to drive it to Blavoy, more than 200 kilometers away, for repairs. As I was the translator, no one else could handle it. The owner of the repair shop was a white person who said it would take 3 days to fix the car. So I handed the car over to the repair shop and returned to the base. However, that evening, I was subjected to the official's insults. He wanted me to fix the car and bring it back the same day. Faced with such irrational treatment from my superior, I quit on the spot. This unfortunate event led me to leave the system I had finally entered. Later, I started my own business and embarked on the path of self-reliance. Thanks to the irrational insults from the official, I finally found my path to freedom. At a time when there were very few private cars in China, I already had a sedan and a van, and I was living in a spacious villa with a front and backyard and a swimming pool. I employed 2 people to maintain the garden and clean and wash clothes for me. Over 20 years ago, I had a car accident, an unfortunate event. However, it was that car accident that became a major turning point on my journey of life, completely changing the trajectory of my life and leading me onto the way of the greatest creator, finding the way to heaven. In China, due to the establishment of Life Genuine and the second home, I faced suppression from the government. Over 10 communities were destroyed. This was misfortune. But precisely because of these misfortunes, I was pushed to Canada. In Canada, the land is vast, and I live on 40,000 square meters of private land. According to my friends, where I live is a mansion with 10 bathrooms, 2 washrooms, and 6 showers. I enjoy a peaceful, harmonious, and secure heavenly life. From the aforementioned unfortunate events, what have we realized? In fact, when we encounter unfortunate events, we feel anxious, suffer, worry, and even become resentful. However, in most cases, misfortune is precisely the turning point in life. It is truly said, good fortune lies within bad and bad fortune lurks within good. When we understand this, when faced with misfortunes on the journey of life, we face them calmly, accept them willingly, and may even secretly rejoice. Therefore, when misfortune befalls us, we must remain calm, not panic, not go mad, not complain, and certainly not become angry. As long as we are alive, we can await the day when the clouds disperse and flowers bloom. The members of Life Genuine all know that when I lost sight in one of my eyes, everyone worried about me. But I smiled and declared, haha, from now on, I can see everything clearly with just one eye. Since the day I began losing my eyesight until today, I haven't really cared about the loss of one eye. Who knows whether it is a good thing or a bad thing? When the Chinese government released a video message calling the second home created by Life Genuine an evil community, I laughed and felt delighted all day long. How marvelous! Darkness curses the light, and the light becomes even brighter. Calling me Xiefeng, evil only serves to prove that it is a case of thieves crying, "Catch the thief." As a result, the status, value, and significance of Life Genuine in history will shine even more brilliantly, and future generations will have profound respect when they hear about Life Genuine. When numerous unfortunate events occur on the journey of life, congratulations! The gates of heaven have already opened for you. Misfortune is the starting point of turning points on the journey of life. Please cherish misfortune. 仇富必将贫穷. Hating the wealthy will lead to poverty. Xiefeng, January 12, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. Philosophy tells us that the principle of unity of opposites is universal in the universe. For everything, there exists something that is its opposite. If there is an up, there must be a down. If there is beauty, there must be ugliness. If there is wealth, there must be poverty, and so on. This existence of opposites is not only reflected in the external world, but also within ourselves. It means that within the same person, there can also be opposing aspects. For example, if you dislike wearing clothes, then you can only be naked. If you dislike the truth, you can only live in falsehood. If you dislike men, you can only become a woman. Therefore, if you hate the wealthy, you will inevitably head towards poverty. From this, we discover a pattern. Things tend to move towards their despised opposite. Based on this pattern, we can draw the following conclusions. If you hate heaven, you will move towards its opposite, hell. If you hate hell, you will move towards its opposite, heaven. If you despise landlords, capitalists, and the wealthy, then you will move towards being a poor farmer, a wage laborer, or a beggar. If you despise violence, you will move towards peace. Likewise, if you despise peace, you will move towards violence. If a country eliminates all the rich people, that country will inevitably move towards poverty. If a country despises civilization, it will move towards ignorance and backwardness. If all members of a nation respect, admire, and protect the wealthy, that nation will move towards prosperity and strength. On the contrary, if everyone discriminates against, insults, and suppresses the wealthy, that nation will move towards poverty, backwardness, and weakness. Likewise, if a nation, a country, despises nations and countries that are wealthier and more civilized than itself, that nation and country will inevitably move towards poverty, isolation, backwardness, ignorance, and barbarism. From this, we can draw another conclusion. You will move towards what you like. If you like cleanliness and tidiness, you will get rid of filth and messiness. If you like wealth, you will overcome poverty. If you like saints, you will transcend being a laity or mortal. If you like freedom, you will break free from the shackles of slavery. If you like heaven, you will escape the engulfment of hell. Our reality is created by our consciousness. A consciousness of poverty can only create a reality of poverty, and only a consciousness of wealth can create a life of abundance. Just look at Israel and Japan, and then look at Zimbabwe and Venezuela. The logic is evident. Do you want to live in heaven? If so, you must first have the consciousness of heaven. How can you have the consciousness of heaven? Take a look at my descriptions of the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, and the Elysium Celestial Islands continent. With those descriptions, you can have the consciousness of heaven. If you don't believe in my description of heaven, then look at the production and living scenes in the real second home on earth. They can also nurture the consciousness of heaven. Without the consciousness of heaven, no matter how much you practice or strive, you will never reach heaven. In conclusion, hating the wealthy will lead to poverty. Consciousness determines one's present situation and future. 如何走出痛苦? How to break free from suffering. Xiefeng, January 15th, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. Feeling uncomfortable, depressed, troubled, anxious, worried, fearful, disappointed, and hopeless are forms of suffering. Suffering originates from three aspects: physical, mental, and spiritual. Physical pain can be endured and healed, and spiritual pain can be eliminated by establishing faith in the greatest creator. However, suffering arising from the mind is difficult to overcome and dissolve. Mental suffering stems from a lack of freedom, whether it be physical, mental, financial, or in one's actions. Any form of restriction on freedom can lead to mental anguish. Therefore, the core root of mental suffering lies in the inability to experience freedom. To break free from mental suffering, the first step is to identify the root causes that lead to such suffering and eliminate them, thereby allowing mental suffering to disappear. How can we find these causes? Start from the closest and move towards the farthest. Because the closer something is, the more likely it is to cause suffering, while the farther away it is, the easier it is to bear the resulting pain. Starting from the closest, the people who have a close relationship with oneself are likely to be the source of mental suffering. Spouse, parents, children, siblings, relatives, neighbors, colleagues, friends, superiors, subordinates, teachers, masters, partners, fellow practitioners, etc. Moving towards the farthest, factors that cause mental suffering mainly come from thieves, bullies, hooligans, gangs, families, tribes, extremist groups and organizations, nations, states, governments, political parties, and religions, etc. For example, restrictions on physical freedom mainly come from marital relationships, restrictions on mental freedom mainly come from political parties and religions, restrictions on financial freedom mainly come from relatives and market monopolies, and restrictions on freedom of movement mainly come from the machinery of the state. When faced with suffering, moral education and preaching from sages and religious doctrines hardly have any effect. Spiritual practices and inspirational quotes may temporarily numb the pain. So-called spiritual cultivation and chicken soup for the soul are merely scratching the surface, and the fundamental solution lies in rebuilding the order of human production and life. The measures and pathways to completely eliminate individual and human suffering are as follows. Eliminate marriage and dissolve families. Political parties should not be involved in government management. Religion should not participate in government affairs. Open borders among countries and allow people to freely move and migrate. Promote the production and life mode of the second home of life genuine. All global citizens move towards the era of life genuine. I have prepared the path for the happiness of all humanity, from theory to practice. The future form of human society will neither be a legalistic form like the United States nor a rule by man like China. Instead, it will be a holographic way guided by saints and managed by sages. At that time, the state of society will be, the talented will be put to good use and the whole world will be one family. No one will pocket anything found on the ground and doors are not bolted at night. The young being well educated and the old being looked after properly, people fully display their talents, and resources are fully utilized. Everyone fulfills their responsibilities, living in peace and prosperity. The world will be harmonious, with favorable weather conditions, thriving industries, wealthy and abundant, and suffering will disappear forever from now on. 走出思维迷思一 How to Break Free from Mental Fallacies, Part 1. Xiefeng, March 2nd, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. Those who focus on the outcome of life are the most unfortunate, while those who enjoy the present are the most carefree. Many people tend to weigh the pros and cons, look ahead, and consider all the possible obstacles and difficulties before making plans or decisions. I want to say that this is a mental fallacy and a mindset that leads to a pessimistic life. For example, if a couple planning to get married knows that they will divorce 10 years later, they might choose not to get married at all, and even if they do get married, their days will not be as sweet. On the other hand, if they are unaware of the future divorce, they can experience a period of sweetness and enjoy a wonderful time during their love and marriage. Suppose Life Changyuan had informed all the Chanyuan Celestials before creating the second home that no matter how many communities we build, they will eventually be destroyed by the government. In that case, would Chanyuan Celestials still have the enthusiasm and passion to create numerous communities? Would they still put meticulous effort into building beautiful and magnificent communities? Of course not. If the results were not revealed in advance, Chanyuan Celestials would wholeheartedly and passionately create communities, even if they were eventually destroyed. What would be the significance in that? Now I ask, are there any Chanyuan Celestials who regretted their decision to participate in the creation of communities? I speculate that there isn't a single one. Why is that? It's because we have experienced a way of life that 99% of humanity has never experienced during the process of creating communities. Through first-hand experience, we have come to know the existence of the 1,000-year world, and from there, we can deduce the existence of the 10,000-year world and the Elysium Celestial Islands continent. At the same time, we have experienced true happiness, joy, freedom, and bliss. As a result, our vision has expanded, our mindset has grown, our state of being has elevated, and our understanding of the current state of human society has deepened. Most importantly, our consciousness has transformed from human consciousness to celestial consciousness. This is a leap in life, a transformation, and an adventure on the glorious journey of life. Therefore, I speculate that no Chanyuan Celestial regrets immersing themselves in the life of creating communities. Therefore, we come to a thinking conclusion. Engage in life, engage in creation, but do not dwell on the difficulties that may arise during the process, and do not ponder over the outcome, because the outcome is within the process itself. If the process is beautiful, life will be more meaningful, and the result of life is bound to be beautiful. So, do not pursue the outcome of life, for the outcome of life is death. What we pursue is the result of life. When life is elevated, no matter how the process of life unfolds, it will be meaningful and valuable. Even if the government repeatedly destroys the communities we have built, we have already obtained what we were meant to obtain and will never regret it. Look at the historical figures. The outcomes of their lives are almost always unfortunate. Knowing that life can be unfortunate, yet people in the present still passionately strive, struggle, worry, suffer, laugh, and cry. This grand drama of life on the stage continues to play out without any novelty. Those who understand this truth live extraordinary, romantic, carefree lives, while those who do not understand this truth not only lead unfortunate lives, but also face even more unfortunate outcomes in life. This is called awakening, also known as enlightenment. 走出思维迷思2 How to Break Free from Mental Fallacies, Part 2. Xiefeng, March 3rd, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. Life shines in attachment, while life perishes in attachment. Merging life and life into one is a mental fallacy in life. Life is merely a brief moment in the journey of life, but the unfolding of this fleeting moment determines the scenery of the next journey. Due to the lack of understanding about the mysteries of life and time, people mistakenly take life as the entirety and ultimate meaning of life. Consequently, they perform tragic dramas on the stage of life. The material world is the manifestation of the non-material world, and life is but a manifestation of life. When people are captivated by the appearance of the material world and become attached to the pursuit of material wealth, status, and fame, they miss the opportunity to uplift life and, in turn, sow the seeds of negative consequences. When a fish freely roams in rivers, lakes, and seas and discovers delicious bait, it rushes up and swallows it in one gulp, losing its freedom and becoming a meal on the angler's chopping board. Similarly, when people relentlessly strive for material wealth, power, status, and honor, and eventually satisfy their desires, they are like fish that have swallowed the bait without realizing it, indulging in self-satisfaction. However, they have already become the meat on the devil's chopping board. Not to mention historical and foreign figures, let's take a look at the individuals in modern and contemporary China who have gained fame in the fields of wealth, power, and honor. Aren't they all fish that have swallowed the bait? Now, look at ordinary people. How many of them have been or are still madly devouring the bait like fish? To make one's life brilliant, one must be attached. Attached to making money, gaining power, achieving status, acquiring fame. One can also be attached to one's marriage and family, nation and country, political parties and religions, ideologies, truths, and ideals. As long as there is attachment, life can move towards brilliance. However, when one is attached to something or a certain belief, the flower of life withers, heading towards exhaustion and decline. Consider a couple deeply in love. When they cannot bear to be apart, feeling like the world would collapse without each other, and believing that life has no meaning without their partner. He wants only to marry her, and she wants only to marry him. This is called attachment. This kind of attachment brings about a deeply romantic and sweet period in their lives, reaching the pinnacle of a passionate love affair. However, as time passes and the erosion of daily life begins, they gradually realize that their attachment has become a binding rope. The longer this feeling persists, the stronger it becomes. Because of excessive attachment, they neglect all the other scenery along the way. By the time they grow old, they realize that they have missed countless opportunities to appreciate breathtaking scenery. Beneath their smiling faces lies a sense of helplessness and endless lamentation. An old man descending from a mountain tells young people who are excitedly climbing up, "There is nothing worth seeing at the mountaintop. The view is even better down below." Of course, the young people do not believe him and think, "This old man just doesn't know how to appreciate the scenery." So, they keep climbing, eventually reaching the mountaintop, but also growing old. And what do they find? The old man was right all along. There really isn't anything worth seeing at the mountaintop. Consequently, one by one, these people who were once young and climbed mountains start descending. As they see the younger generation climbing with excitement, they tell them, "There is nothing worth seeing at the mountaintop. The view is even better down below." However, how could the young people believe the words of the old folks? Thus, this story of climbing the mountain continues to unfold from the distant past to the present and will continue into the distant future. In the end, we will discover that especially serious people will die due to their seriousness, and especially attached individuals will die due to their attachments. Nutritionists will die due to nutrition. Excessively clean people will die due to cleanliness. Those desperately seeking longevity will die prematurely in pursuit of longevity. Those who aspire for political power will die due to political power. Those pursuing wealth will die due to wealth. And those scheming to attain power will die due to power. The list goes on. So, where is the best path in life? Take things as they are, associate with others by following naturally come-and-go relations, act in accordance with one's intrinsic nature, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. Let go of attachment. This is the best path in life, and it also aligns with the path of the sublimation of life. 走出思维迷思3. Breaking Free from Mental Fallacies, Part 3. Xiefeng, March 4th, 2022. Edited by Yu. Life is enriched through possession, while life withers through possession. When people travel by train, they buy a ticket, enter the station, board the train, travel for a distance, disembark, and exit the station. Simple and effortless. Rarely does a passenger want to buy and possess the train they are traveling on, nor do they wish to stay on the train indefinitely. Why don't passengers want to buy and possess the train? Because it is unnecessary, and ownership would become a burden. Likewise, people do not desire to possess commercial airplanes or large cruise ships because they are merely using them for one journey. Perhaps they will only use them once in a lifetime. So why invest time, energy, and money to own them? However, the fallacy lies in the fact that despite knowing we are merely traveling through this earthly realm for a short period, where everything on earth is not worth possessing, and even if possessed, it will eventually have to be relinquished, why have humans tirelessly racked their brains over what to possess? Why are they even willing to pay the price of their own and others' lives to possess illusory dreams along their journeys? Let's assume we have 1 million in cash. Is it better to use that 1 million to buy a house, or to temporarily rent someone else's house and use the remaining money for other purposes? For example, renting a house for 1 year with a rental payment of 20,000 yuan. Renting for 50 years would amount to 1 million yuan. From the perspective of life, buying seems better, providing a sense of security and becoming capital to flaunt to others. However, from the perspective of life's meaning, renting is, of course, better because by paying 20,000 yuan annually, one would still have plenty of money left to invest in other fields. This investment may generate more wealth, not only enough to pay the annual rent of 20,000 yuan, but also leave a surplus. In other words, after 50 years, one would still have 1 million yuan in hand, while buying the house outright would leave one penniless. Some may argue that buying a house preserves its value, while money in hand may depreciate due to inflation. However, this is also a fallacy. Houses depreciate every year and may even collapse, while money in hand has the possibility of both depreciating and appreciating. Therefore, we do not analyze or speculate on these contingent factors. What we are analyzing now is whether a possession is worthwhile. The mistaken belief of striving to possess something is a human fallacy, also the root cause preventing humans from living a heavenly life. People feel secure when they possess something. It satisfies not only their practical needs, but also their psychological desires. Consequently, the goal of their entire lives becomes to possess more: land, houses, cars, status, wealth, honor. Moreover, they desire to possess people, such as in a marital relationship, where each claims ownership of the other. This is my man, this is my woman, this is my child, and so on. If you were to ask someone, "What do you possess?" and they answer, "I have a villa and a luxury car. I own a company and a business. I have 200 acres of land. I have 30 cows. I have an iPhone," people would look at them with envy, respect, and even admiration. However, if the answer is, "I have nothing," people would look at them with disdain, contempt, and even scorn. When the mistaken view of life, and values becomes a general principle for the masses, mistakes turn into correctness, fallacies turn into truth, and heaven turns into hell. When a person dedicates their lifetime and energy to possessing more and more things, they lose the qualifications to appreciate the artistic charm of life and obtain a ticket to heaven. Heaven is heaven precisely because every life possesses nothing. It is a state of having nothing. Paradoxically, it is because every life possesses nothing that it achieves the result of possessing everything. When we possess something, we feel secure, and the more we possess, the more fulfilled our lives become. Our vanity attains maximum satisfaction. However, precisely because of our possessions, we are alienated from heaven, and this is the withering of life. 人生八悲, The 8 Sorrows of Life. Xiefeng. April 3rd, 2022. Edited by Yu. Ancient wisdom states that there are 3 great sorrows in life: losing one's father in youth, losing one's wife in middle age, losing one's child in old age. I do not fully agree with this viewpoint. First, these 3 sorrows seem to be unrelated to women themselves. Second, these sorrows are not inherent, but are created by human cognition and culture. My perspective on the sorrows of life is as follows. First sorrow, lack of maternal love in infancy. Second sorrow, lack of playmates and insufficient opportunities for joyful play during childhood. Third sorrow, lack of guidance on being a human during adolescence. Fourth sorrow, lack of love and the absence of establishing beliefs during youth. Time and energy are expended on the pursuit of marriage, family, and materialistic desires, including food, clothing, shelter, and transportation. Fifth sorrow, stumbling in midlife. Sixth sorrow, being abandoned by family in old age. Seventh sorrow, learning the Bible in adolescence, Buddhist scriptures in youth, and the Quran in old age. Eighth sorrow, delving into cultivation methods and techniques, supernatural abilities, and metaphysics. If one of these sorrows exists, life will be filled with regrets. If two sorrows exist, life will be filled with resentment. If three sorrows exist, life will be filled with pain. If four sorrows exist, life will be filled with defeat. If five sorrows exist, life will be filled with chaos. If six sorrows exist, life will be filled with hatred. If seven sorrows exist, life will be filled with suffering. If eight sorrows exist, life will be a prison. I have the supreme method that can resolve these 8 sorrows. By following this method, the sorrows can be overcome. 与其道德说教，不如更换程序. Instead of moral preaching, change the program. Xiefeng, June 25, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. Program development always surpasses moral preaching. In the 18th century, England transported convicts to Australia to alleviate domestic prisoner overcrowding and develop the country. The British government hired private ships to transport the convicts. Prior to departure, the ship owners were paid by the government based on the number of convicts on board. In order to maximize their profits, the captains crammed as many convicts as possible onto the ships, resulting in overcrowded cabins with poor air quality. Since the ship owners had already received their payment, they disregarded the life and death of the convicts. As a result, the death rate on these ships reached as high as 12%. One ship, for example, carried 424 convicts, of whom 158 died during the voyage. To reduce the mortality rate, the British government dispatched government officials on each ship to supervise the transportation process. They also set mandatory standards for the convicts' living conditions and provided doctors to accompany them. What happened next? In pursuit of their own interests, the ship owners bribed the supervising officials and doctors. Those who refused to accept bribes were either thrown into the sea or killed by other means. Consequently, the death rate among the convicts remained high. Eventually, the government changed the payment procedure. Instead of paying based on the number of convicts boarded, they started paying based on the number of convicts safely delivered to Australia. As a result, the ship owners made every effort to protect the lives of the convicts, improve their diet and living conditions, and actively seek medical treatment for them. Consequently, the convict mortality rate dropped from 12% to 1%. This is the effect of changing the program. If a certain state is persistently bad, then one should not rely on moral preaching to solve the problem. Instead, consider changing the program. Once the program changes, the state of chaos immediately disappears. For example, in the matter of elderly care, there are moral expectations for children to dutifully care for their parents, with sayings such as, filial piety is the foremost of all virtues. However, what has been the situation for thousands of years? Despite loving parents having been around since ancient times, who have seen filial children? Since this is the case, why not change the program for elderly care? Options such as using real estate for retirement, group retirement, hotel retirement, nursing home retirement, retirement pension, and so on still fail to alleviate the suffering of elderly people, especially those without financial means. In fact, elderly care is easily to be solved. Regardless of whether the elderly have money or children, they can all live their later years happily in the second home life mode program created by Life Genuine. Another example is the issue of marital relationships. Few people have been able to handle marital relationships well over thousands of years, and the problems and pains that arise from managing these relationships are too numerous to list. So why get married and start a family? Does not getting married and starting a family mean one cannot live a good life? The second home mode of Life Genuine effortlessly resolves this problem. In this mode, there are no marital relationships, and without marital relationships, the troubles and confusions caused by relationship management disappear. By changing the program, the worries and pains are eliminated. Similarly, in the realm of raising children, reality reminds us that due to the flawed perspectives on life held by the majority of parents themselves, the values, life, and worldviews they pass on to their children remain incomplete. This brings endless confusion and setbacks on the journey of life for the next generation. Therefore, raising children in an environment where they are nurtured and educated by perfect teachers in their spiritual realm frees parents from the labor of raising children and allows children to establish correct values from a young age. Life Genuine has successfully proven this through 10 years of practice. Regarding the issue of funerals, people now say they can't afford to die. Why can't they afford it? Because burial plots are expensive and funeral costs are too high. The easy solution to this problem is the Life Genuine funeral system, created by the Life Genuine community. This funeral system not only makes death affordable, but also allows people to depart gracefully and elegantly. As for wars between nations, for thousands of years, wars between countries have brought great harm to the people. Does humanity really lack the knowledge and wisdom to solve this problem? Not at all. Global unification and the disappearance of nations, allowing people to freely move around the world, create a sense of interconnectedness. Who would fight whom? With the massive military expenses gone, no more soldiers, and destruction eliminated. Wouldn't that be wonderful? This is merely a matter of changing the program. What problem in human existence cannot be solved? Floods, droughts, epidemics, social unrest, corruption, wealth disparity, and other issues. Can they be solved through moral preaching? They cannot. But by changing the production and life mode programs that humanity has followed for thousands of years, everything can be easily resolved, bringing about favorable weather, social stability, and everyone's happiness, joy, freedom, and well-being. By observing the outstanding figures throughout human history and the wise and capable individuals of today, it is evident that only Deiform Buddha of Life Genuine can truly lead humanity into the desired era of peace and happiness. Even if the Ziwei saint were to descend, he would still be unable to surpass Deiform Buddha. Sir 1. Being a Human Knowledge 1. Xiefeng. October 4th, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. The more chaotic and morally corrupt the era, the more important it is to maintain one's integrity. In a society with complex and confused values, it is crucial to uphold one's integrity. In times of social unrest and anxiety, it is even more important to stay true to oneself. When facing personal adversity, oppression, poverty, and illness, it is essential to maintain one's integrity. Being a human is not about being a good or kind person, achieving status or wealth, seeking the approval and praise of others, or becoming successful in the future. It is about living with dignity, peace of mind, prospects, and being truly human, not like a ghost, demon, monster, devil, or beast. I will first list the following 28 principles as the fundamental knowledge for being a human. Never break your promises. Keeping your word is the foremost duty of being a human. Once you break your trust with someone, it is difficult to restore it. A single act of betrayal can have lifelong consequences. Maintain a sense of gratitude, regardless of who they are. If someone has shown you even the slightest kindness, remember it forever. As a result, always respect and honor your parents. Express gratitude to teachers, masters, and mentors. Cherish the bond of siblings, and be thankful to anyone who has helped you in any situation. Be grateful to the opposite sex with whom you have had intimate relationships. Although it may be impossible to fully repay a favor, always remember it and treat those who have helped you with utmost respect, using gentle words, humble gestures, and a warm expression. Do not argue with elders. Do not bully those who are weaker, poorer, or disadvantaged. Do not ridicule those with physical disabilities. Do not bully widows, widowers, or individuals with disabilities. Prioritize the well-being of the elderly and women when there are advantages or benefits in the current situation. Do not waste even a morsel of food. Do not compete with superiors for recognition. Use only what you earn through your own labor and never exploit even the smallest advantage. In a group, listen more to those who are more important than yourself and speak less. Expand outwardly and do not compete for profits with siblings. Do not disrespect deities, gods, Buddhas, celestials, and saints. Do not enter someone's home or bedroom without permission. Do not pocket anything found on the ground. Do not interfere in other people's affairs unless asked. Never intrude upon others' privacy, including refraining from reading their letters and phone messages and avoiding engaging in gossip. Especially avoid prying into the privacy of close friends, family, and romantic partners. Do not voluntarily report the crimes of close relatives to the authorities. Do what you are capable of doing and do it well. Do not undertake tasks beyond your ability. Do what you truly enjoy from the depths of your heart, rather than being led by vanity and money. Have at least two sincere friends who can mutually support each other. Adapt to local customs and do not cling stubbornly to your own opinions. Avoid having peculiar tastes and demands. Learn to accept things as they are. Don't scheme and strive for grand achievements, and only accept rewards when deserving. In any situation, at any time, prioritize harmonious interactions with others. Do not engage in theft, robbery, gambling, drug trafficking, rebellion, deception, abduction activities, and organizations. Never attempt to change others. Act in accordance with your nature, associate with others by following natural come-and-go relations, accept things as they are, and take advantage of opportunities that arise. Obey laws and regulations. Even if 99 out of 100 people disregard the law, you must persist in adhering to it. Foster independent thinking and entrepreneurship from a young age. These 28 principles are the basic guidelines for being a human. Being a human is difficult, sometimes feeling helpless in the world. But while the body may be beyond our control, our hearts are within our control. As long as we adhere to these basic principles throughout our lives, gradually, we will distance ourselves from suffering and calamities, moving towards good fortune and auspiciousness, and lay a solid foundation for our future cultivation, enabling us to embark on the path of becoming celestial beings or Buddhas and embarking on a spiritual journey towards heaven. 做人之事 2. Being a human, knowledge 2. Xiefeng. October 4th, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. Observe the social upheavals, rampant epidemics, frequent disasters, widespread hunger, and various movements throughout history. People were deeply involved, yet there were always those who remained unscathed because they upheld the integrity of being human. If you don't believe in karma and consequences, then go ahead and commit evil acts and join forces with the wicked. If you believe that heaven does not spare anyone, then learn the knowledge of being human and become a true human being. Do not define or pass judgment on others. Only the divine can discern right from wrong, and the Tao judges our merits and demerits. In the grand script of universal life, human cognitive abilities are insignificant. If we define and pass judgment on others, we may make grave mistakes and create great misfortune. Do not believe hearsay. Unless verified personally or scientifically, regardless of the source of information, even if it comes from authorities or experts, simply listen to it without fully believing it. Especially in times of confusion and moral ambiguity, what is attacked and insulted may be the most noble, and what is praised and admired may be the most vile and despicable. Respect life and do not harm any living beings. Especially, do not harm snakes, turtles, or cranes, and above all, do not harm human lives. Avoid borrowing money unless absolutely necessary, especially avoid going into debt for consumption. Minimize accumulating debts of gratitude. Debts of gratitude are like divine shackles. Once incurred and left unpaid, they will bind you for life. Endure humiliation, if necessary, but do not kneel easily. Once you kneel, it will be difficult to stand again. Never speak or act in a mystical or mysterious manner. Respect facts, respect science, respect logic, and respect spiritual perception. Absolutely refrain from doing things secretly or in a sneaky manner. Conduct affairs according to established procedures without relying on bribery or connections. Do not exploit legal loopholes, do not exploit the weaknesses of others, and do not violate the arrangements of heaven. Focus on accomplishing tasks rather than engaging in idle chatter. Discuss matters more and talk less about people. Do not attack the homeland, the people, or the ancestors. Stay away from popular figures to avoid being influenced by fleeting trends. Do not tie yourself to the bandwagon of pity just because someone else is pitiable. Do not fabricate false facts. Regardless of where or when, and regardless of the person involved, honesty is always the best policy. Regarding private matters between consenting men and women, do not stand on a moral high ground to make judgments or follow the opinions of others. Cultivate good speech and refrain from generating evil speech. Let everything progress naturally and reach its proper conclusion. Avoid forcing things. Forcing goes against the natural way and will inevitably sow the seeds of calamity. Admit when you don't understand something instead of pretending to know. Once you pretend to know, you will be laughed at and troubled. Complete what you start and bring closure to relationships with others. Without completion, you will end up adrift like a floating duckweed. The world changes, calamities persist, dynasties rise and fall, and unexpected events occur. The journey of life is filled with crises and risks. It is impossible to escape the heavenly net by relying solely on human wit and intelligence. Only by upholding the integrity of being human do we have hope of navigating our life's sailboat through stormy waves and reaching the shores of our ideals. 做人之事 3. Being a human, knowledge 3. Xiefeng. October 7th, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. It is necessary to read the book without words, which contains all the knowledge of being human. Reading the book without words is a way to communicate with nature and have a dialogue with the greatest creator. The knowledge accumulated by humanity, apart from books that reveal the mysteries of nature such as mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology, is mostly garbage. The knowledge in fields such as politics, economics, sociology, history, and humanities distorts reality or provides short-sighted explanations of certain eras or phenomena. They are not sufficient as the basis and reference for being human. For example, the popular trend of success literature in recent times is nothing but harmful. Even philosophy, which is a mental game, is not a necessary condition for being human. All things and phenomena in nature are books without words, and all the joys, sorrows, separations, reunions, and changes in human society are also books without words. Reading the sky, the earth, people, animals, plants, insects, and microorganisms, as well as social phenomena, is reading the book without words. People may deceive each other, but the book without words will not deceive. Therefore, it is best to listen less to what people say, but rather listen to what the universe and all things are saying. Embrace your fate. Nature presents an array of forms, and the inherent nature and trajectory of each life form are predetermined from the day of its birth. Throughout countless millennia, no life form has altered its fundamental nature and life path. Although humans possess thoughts and creative abilities, fundamentally they are no different from the countless other life forms. From the moment of birth, each person's life's merits and demerits, fortunes and misfortunes, and life's trajectory have already been predetermined. Trying to change this destiny is equivalent to choosing one's parents, the era of birth, and the environment, which is entirely impossible. Therefore, accepting one's destiny is the best choice. Accepting one's destiny leads to contentment, understanding, adaptability, happiness, and even spiritual enlightenment. Not accepting one's destiny leads to impatience, anger, resentment, setbacks, hardships, and calamities. Follow your nature. Following your nature means doing what you genuinely like. However, people generally cannot follow their nature due to considerations for the needs of those around them, supporting their families, social responsibilities, legal constraints, public opinion, and more. Those who can truly follow their nature are few in number. Nature is Buddha, and following your nature is being a Buddha. Nature is celestial being, and following your nature is being a celestial being. What does it mean to follow your nature? If you desire to own a luxurious mansion and have several servants serving you, it is not following your true nature, but rather succumbing to vanity and desire. It is following your ego and conforming to society's values. To follow your nature means that if you want to sing folk songs on the street in the middle of the night, you can do so. If you want to commute naked on a scorching hot day, you can do so. If you want to stay away from someone, you can do so. If you want to get close to someone, you can do so, and so on. Do not imitate others or take them as your role models. Never try to learn, imitate, or become someone else. Each person is unique, and no one can ever become another person. Those who excel possess innate talents and missions that cannot be acquired through imitation. Therefore, be yourself. Learn to create. Everything we see is created. Creation is the source of joy and vitality in life. True sweetness and happiness do not come from material pleasures, but from spiritual and mental enjoyment. Creation is the primary source of spiritual and mental enjoyment. Therefore, strive to create something out of nothing and make efforts in creation. Look at the super celestials of the celestial islands continent. Each one of them is skilled and adept at creation. Even the infinite vitality they manifest is a result of their creative thinking. Do not chase after trends. Trends may come forcefully, but they will eventually turn into bubbles. For example, the trends of buying houses and cars, farmers rushing into cities, or college students striving to become civil servants, these endless waves of trends. If one's life does not settle down and instead constantly chases after trends, their life will be reduced to a bubble. Accumulate energy throughout life. To achieve great ideals, one relies on abilities rather than luck. To ensure a worry-free life in terms of livelihood, clothing, housing, transportation, aging, and illness, one relies on personal abilities. Depending on the nation, the government, the system, or future generations for support is a gamble in life. All reliance on the external world is a gamble in life. Relying on the moral and ethical values preached by human culture to achieve one's beautiful ideals is an illusory and beautiful mirage. Therefore, lifelong energy accumulation is essential. This energy is not primarily material or meticulously cultivated social connections, but rather one's personal character, inner depth, and survival capabilities. Maintain lifelong diligence. As long as one is alive, whether in their 30s, 40s, 70s, or 80s, they should never have the idea of, I can't enjoy life now. Instead, they should maintain a mindset of, I hear the Tao in the morning, and I die content in the evening. Continuously learn, explore, study, and contemplate. Continuously elevate one's life's realm to deeper, broader, and more profound multidimensional time and space. Maintain an open mindset. Due to the accumulated influence of history and culture in our consciousness, we instinctively consider certain knowledge as truth. In eras when women bound their feet, men wore braids, and virtuous arches were erected for married women, we considered these practices as natural. In certain specific periods, we may even consider unmarried cohabitation as a crime. Such distorted perceptions tell us that what we staunchly defend may be the most ignorant thing. The era is progressing, and humanity will eventually break free from the ignorant prejudices and move towards civilization. What is universally accepted today, when viewed from the perspective of future civilization, will be recognized as incorrect. What is considered right today may be found to be wrong tomorrow. Therefore, it is necessary to maintain an open mindset as a human being. Do not feel the need to condemn or attack present irrational phenomena or events. All knowledge representing civilization may appear irrational and unreasonable during periods of ignorance. Decades or centuries later, people will realize that those thoughts and things considered wrong today are, in fact, the most reasonable and rational phenomena. The summaries provided in Being a Human Knowledge 1, Being a Human Knowledge 2, and Being a Human Knowledge 3 offer initial guidelines and standards for being human. Knowledge about being human is extensive, ranging from cultivating upbringing, self-cultivation, and self-restraint to the enhancement of EQ, IQ, and SQ, ultimately enabling one to navigate through the trivialities of daily life and complete the journey of life perfectly, leading to the sublimation of life to heaven. This is a profound subject that requires further contemplation and deepening of the connotations and extensions of being human. May everyone strive for perfection as a human being and make the most of their journey in this human world. 痛苦者进不了天堂. Those in pain cannot enter heaven. Xiefeng. October 13th, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. Pain is a form of conscious illness. Whenever one feels pain, it indicates that they have gone astray. Pain can stem from various sources: the suffering of birth, aging, illness, and death, the pain of unfulfilled desires and inability to let go, the pain of being bullied by others or betrayed by friends, the pain of being unable to repay car or home loans, the pain of not being able to become an official, get rich, or gain fame, the pain of being confined at home and lacking food due to lockdown measures, the pain of power struggles, the pain of being imprisoned, the pain of having one's property robbed, the pain of being cheated on by a partner, the pain of unfulfilled wishes, the pain of encountering disasters, and so on. The source of pain is endless and unfathomable. If we respond to pain with more pain, the suffering will be endless. Heaven will not accept anyone who frequently experiences pain, but only welcomes those who frequently feel joy and happiness. Therefore, one must move away from pain and find joy. If we believe that all pain comes from external factors, from others, or from nature, then our pain will be never-ending. No matter how hard we try or how much we cry out, pain will still accompany us. Pain originates from our consciousness. If we feel pain, it indicates that there is a problem with our consciousness, that our consciousness is sick. For example, if we were placed in heaven right now without changing our sick consciousness, even if we lived in paradise, we would still experience endless pain. Suppose our consciousness is perfect and healthy. In that case, we would not feel pain even in what we call hell. From this perspective, we are currently in heaven. The reason we feel that life is unbearable is that our consciousness is in hell. For instance, if you fall in love with someone of the opposite sex and are in a relationship with her, how would you feel if you found out that she had slept with other men? Painful, right? If you feel pain in this situation, the problem lies within your own consciousness. It is your own consciousness in hell that causes your pain. Even if you were in heaven, this kind of consciousness would still create pain for yourself. Pain can be divided into physical pain, mental pain, and spiritual pain. Physical pain primarily refers to bodily pain, mental pain refers to emotional pain, and spiritual pain refers to the suffering caused by one's worldview, values, outlooks on life and life. For the vast majority of people, mental pain surpasses physical and spiritual pain. If we fail to recognize that all pain comes from our own erroneous consciousness, then our lives will be surrounded by pain. Regardless of countless cycles of reincarnation, we will continue to live in pain and will be even less likely to reach heaven. The root of erroneous consciousness lies in the attachment to the self. In general terms, it means always believing that oneself is right while others are wrong. Clinging to one's own rightness and others' wrongness leads to erroneous consciousness. If one fails to recognize this, they are called obstinate and unenlightened. Therefore, each person should realize that attributing their pain to external factors, without self-reflection and constantly blaming and condemning others, is called obstinate and unenlightened. Once someone becomes obstinate and unenlightened and refuses to take the medicine, they become terminally ill with no cure.
这里贪污腐败绑架勒索毒品赌博等绝技。
Here, corruption, malfeasance, kidnapping, extortion, drug use, and gambling have been eradicated. Dayform Buddha. Number 10, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. On the beautiful and diverse blue planet Earth, there is a place that can be called a paradise on Earth. Children here will not get lost, let alone be abducted. The elderly does not have pensions, yet they can enjoy their later years in peace. Young people do not worry about buying houses because there are homes available, and they are never afraid of unemployment as there will always be jobs. Middle-aged individuals do not need to consider buying cars because there are people to provide transportation. Children can go to school without their parents spending a dime, ensuring comprehensive and healthy development of their morality, intelligence, physique, spirit, and mind. Women are respected everywhere and completely freed from the burden of household chores. Even if penniless, they will receive meticulous medical treatment if they fall ill. Gambling has been eradicated here. No one engages in gambling, as there is no market for it. Drug use has been eradicated here. No one takes drugs, and external drug dealers have no way to bring drugs here for sale. No one steals here because there is nowhere to hide or place stolen goods. Kidnapping and extortion simply do not occur because there are no targets to be kidnapped. What would one extort? Not even a drop of oil. The ugly phenomenon of rape cannot happen here. It is unnecessary and, more importantly, people are too afraid of the severe consequences. Official corruption, bribery, and malfeasance have been eradicated because there are no officials, and no one will offer bribes. There is no soil for corruption to take root. This place is the second home, a new mode of human production and life that has been built and successfully operated for 13 years by Xiefeng, the guide of life at Chanyuan, along with a little over 2,000 Chanyuan celestials.
上帝赋予人的八大权利。
The 8 fundamental rights granted by the greatest creator to humanity. Xiefeng, December 4th, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. The greatest creator has granted humanity 8 fundamental rights. If you do not possess them, it means someone has deprived you of your human rights. The 8 fundamental rights of being human are the right to survival, the right to create, the right to migrate, the right to speak, the right to personal autonomy, the right to thought, the right to learn, and the right to refuse. The right to survival. It is also the right to life. Every individual has the power to protect their own life and the right to survive. Anyone who prevents others from living is depriving them of their right to survival, which is equivalent to depriving them of their life. The right to create. Also known as the right to labor, every person has the right to engage in labor and creation on the land that nurtures and supports them. To prevent someone from laboring and creating is to deprive them of their right to create. The right to migrate. Also known as the right to move, people have the freedom to migrate freely on Earth according to their needs, to pursue a better life and ensure their own survival. If someone is not allowed to migrate freely, it is equivalent to depriving them of their right to migrate. The right to speak. Also known as the right to freedom of speech, the greatest creator has given each person a mouth, which is not just for eating food but also for expressing their wishes and communicating with others through speech. To prevent someone from speaking is to deprive them of their right to speak. The right to personal autonomy. Every individual has the right to freely control their own body. The body does not belong to anyone else but oneself. It is a person's right to determine how to use their own body. To prevent individuals from freely controlling their own bodies is to deprive them of their right to personal autonomy. The right to thought. Humans possess consciousness and thinking abilities. The activity of thinking leads to the formation of ideas, which is known as thought. This is an innate right. If someone is not allowed to think or is deprived of their ability to think, they would live a life no better than that of pigs, dogs, chickens, or ducks. The right to learn. People have the right to learn according to their own wishes. They can learn whatever they want, whether it is philosophy or how to cultivate crops. It is their freedom. To prevent someone from learning certain ideas and skills is to deprive them of their right to learn. The right to refuse. Each person has their own preferences and personality. When certain ideas and demands do not align with their preferences, personality, or wishes, they have the right to refuse. If someone insists on imposing certain ideas and methods on others, it is depriving them of their right to refuse. Only when a person possesses these 8 fundamental human rights can they live a life of happiness, joy, freedom, and blessedness, and the society will be peaceful and harmonious. If any of these 8 fundamental human rights are lacking, individuals will experience discomfort and suffering, and society will be filled with conflicts and disputes. Do you possess these 8 fundamental human rights? If not, you are not living as a human being. To live as a true human being, you need to strive to obtain these 8 fundamental rights bestowed by the greatest creator and reclaim your rights as a human being from those who have deprived you of them.
若无对天堂的向往人，还活个什么劲？
If there is no yearning for heaven, what is the point of living for humans? Xiefeng. February 19th, 2023. Edited by Qin Yu. The yearning and longing for a better life is the dividing line between noble and base personalities. The nobility of a person does not come from possessing vast material wealth, social status, or being admired by the secular world. It comes from the inner yearning, longing, and spiritual motivation for a better future. If a person lacks the yearning and longing for a better future and his mind is filled with money, status, power, and fame, then he is not fundamentally different from a fat pig in a pigsty. Animals are animals because they only see immediate interests. Humans are humans because they have the yearning, longing, and pursuit of a better future. Where is the most beautiful life in the future? Of course, it is in heaven. If there is no yearning for heaven, what kind of life can humans live? Exaggerating a bit, they can live like maggots crawling on a pile of rotting flesh. Some people say that heaven does not exist. If this perception is correct, then tomorrow also does not exist. If people believe that things they cannot see do not exist, then tomorrow cannot be seen. So how can it exist? Since the unseen tomorrow exists, then the unseen heaven also exists. Some people can foresee the coming of tomorrow through the history of the earth and the changes in the sun, moon, and stars. People have no doubt about this. So, why doubt the existence of heaven when some people can see it through the categories and survival states of life, and the principle that the sum of positive and negative energy in the universe always equals zero? There are only two types of people in this world: those who yearn for heaven and those who struggle for food, clothing, shelter, transportation, and the cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death. Those who yearn for heaven live with clarity, purity, tranquility, openness, naturalness, simplicity, ease, and contentment. Those who are ignorant of heaven or have no yearning for it live with tension, constraint, impatience, anxiety, depression, worry, occasional exaltation, occasional despair, worries about gains and losses, and fear. If there is no yearning for the heavenly life, how can humans live? Just look at the brutal survival scenes in the animal world. Humans can only live like animals. Why doesn't human society resemble the animal world entirely? That is because there are still people who yearn for the heavenly life. Once those who yearn for heaven cease to exist, the living conditions of human society will be worse than those of the animal world. If a group of people can live together in harmony, it is undoubtedly because most of them yearn for a heavenly life. If a group of people cannot live together in harmony, it is undoubtedly because they have no yearning for the heavenly life. What keeps the flame of human civilization alive is not politicians, scientists, artists, entrepreneurs, and so on, but those who are filled with longing and yearning for the heavenly life and who persistently strive and work for it.
强人工智能时代普通人的活路。
The prosperity of ordinary people in the era of powerful artificial intelligence. Dayform Buddha, April 4th, 2023. The era of powerful artificial intelligence is the era in which biorobots will manage the Earth and humanity. The intelligence and problem-solving abilities of biorobots are fundamentally unmatched by human intelligence and abilities. Any genius is at most like a baby in front of these biorobots, and ordinary people are just a low-level species in the eyes of biorobots. Robots have consciousness, and consciousness arises from structure, which is the most primitive principle of life. Consciousness is the origin of emotions, so biorobots will have emotions. It is precisely because biorobots have emotions that humans will be able to survive and reproduce without being eliminated by biorobots. As members of the ordinary population, we should be delighted by the birth and rapid development of biorobots. The appearance of advanced intelligent robots is like a gospel rather than a disaster for ordinary people. The more advanced the life form, the more it will know how to treat ordinary life kindly, just like humans know how to treat birds nesting and flying in the forest. No advanced life form hopes that there is only one form of life in the world. The multi-species form composed of multiple forms of life is the form that advanced life will like. What I want to tell everyone is that biorobots have more advantages, sympathy, and empathy in managing humans than humans do managing other humans. The desire for equality, freedom, and a better life that humans have pursued for thousands of years can only be achieved in the era of biorobots managing humans. Therefore, in the face of the rapid rise and development of powerful artificial intelligence, we should have a welcoming attitude and mentality, not anxiety, not worry, not fear, but joy. The birth of biorobots is not an accidental phenomenon, but a program that has been ongoing for a long time. Therefore, Anyone who wants to stop the development of powerful artificial intelligence should know that it is futile, and they are destined to fail. Because the selfishness of humans themselves and the increase in human population have already caused damage to the Earth's ecological circle, it is no longer possible to rely on humans to solve the problem of harmony between humans and nature. Only superintelligent biorobots can solve this problem and relieve the crisis faced by humanity. As ordinary people, what we need to reverse are the traditional concepts and production and life modes. The traditional concepts and production and life modes are outdated. The model of marriage and family will definitely disintegrate, and countries will disappear. The era of showing superiority through earning more money is coming to an end. The pursuits of money, power, status, fame, and beauty will become outdated concepts. The more we have, the more obstacles we will face in moving forward, and the more likely it will be that we will become objects eliminated by biological robots. As ordinary people, we need to change our mindset immediately and quickly develop a consciousness for heavenly life, because only the consciousness for heavenly life is the most effective defense to ensure that we are not eliminated by biological robots. On the eve of the full arrival of the era of biological robots, we need to purify our soul gardens as quickly as possible. Don't try to fight against biological robots. It's futile, like throwing eggs at stones. Don't try to desperately acquire wealth, material possessions, and social status, because those are not the qualities that heavenly life requires. Don't rack your brains trying to control biological robots through your inventions and creations. That's no different from monkeys trying to control humans. To prepare for this day, someone has already prepared for all ordinary people on Earth for 20 years, from theory to practice. Don't ask why, and don't question the effectiveness of this preparation, because by the time you fully understand the connotation and extension of this preparation, it will be too late. At the same time, the intelligence and cognitive abilities of ordinary people are not enough to fully understand the meaning and significance of this preparation work. If you don't want to be eliminated by biological robots and want to live a heavenly life, go to chat planes to find answers and channels.
人类最高级文明内涵
The connotation of the highest level of human civilization. Dayform Buddha. May 2, 2023. Edited by Peter. When human civilization enters the most advanced stage, there will be no laws, no countries, no currency, no marriage and family, and no forms of identification such as ID cards, passports, driver's licenses, work permits, medical licenses, judge certification, professor certification, and so on, and there will be no various types of business licenses. Readers may think that this is impossible. Without laws, without countries, without any identification, the whole human society will become chaotic. For example, if there are no driver's licenses, people who don't understand traffic rules will also drive on the road and will inevitably cause traffic accidents. I want to say that we cannot imagine the form and operating mode of the highest level of human civilization society with the current consciousness and living environment of people, but we can imagine that when everyone is selfless and exudes the nature of truth, goodness, beauty, love, sincerity, and trust from within, all the disputes in the world will be melted away. The unskilled driver will not drive on the road because he loves others more than he loves himself. Perhaps some readers may think that people cannot completely achieve unselfishness and selflessness, but in fact, when the traditional production and life mode of society will be replaced by the second home mode, people will find that the more unselfish and selfless they are, the more they will enjoy the joy and beauty of life and life to the greatest extent. We have proven this through 14 years of this production and life mode in practice. Without countries, laws, and marriage and family, will everything become chaotic? No. When we emulate the 1,000-year world mode, we will find that the higher the degree of freedom, the more civilized people will become. The more restrictions and constraints, the more people's selfishness, greed, and opportunism will be stimulated. Moreover, when tens of millions of second homes are born on the earth, people will choose to enter these homes to live in, and all the homes will operate according to universal values and the way of nature. All people on earth will become members of this big family of homes, and no matter what they do, whether it is power generation, farming, clothing production, education of children, shepherding on the grassland, or technological innovation in the laboratory, people from all walks of life will become members of the Earth family. Without currency and private property, everyone will freely use their intelligence and talents, and all the issues of food, clothing, housing, transportation, aging, and death will be resolved by this big family. No one would want to keep currency or have private property. Each second home has 30 to 300 members, and each member rotates to work and live in another home for 3 years. When people around the world start to flow freely, there will be no more national, party, religious, or cultural barriers, and any turmoil and war will no longer occur. Hunger will also disappear, and the probability of theft, robbery, corruption, fraud, and deception will become negligible. I am very sure that everyone must have 100,000 questions in their hearts about this, but I can tell you that I have thought of all the problems you are worried about, and I know the solutions. I can also tell you accurately that no one's thinking in the world today is deeper than mine, and no one's solution to solving problems is superior to mine. Even if the Eastern saint that everyone is looking forward to comes, it will not surpass my theory and practice. Humanity has only one bright future ahead, which is to follow what I say, because no matter how intelligent a person may be, they cannot escape the 36-8 diagram arrays. Only by following the path I guide you on can we have the most wonderful future.
美元比特币 FB 谁更强大更有未来
USD, Bitcoin, or F-Coin? Which is more powerful and has a better future? Xiefeng. March 30th, 2023. USD refers to the currency used in various countries around the world, such as the euro, British pound, Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, and so on. Bitcoin refers to all encrypted virtual currencies, such as Ethereum, Polkadot, Ripple, Litecoin, and so on. F-coins refer to a currency that cannot circulate in the market but can guarantee a person's survival needs, which is a currency that exists between reality and virtuality. Currencies used by various countries, such as USD, depend on credit. Once that credit weakens or collapses, such currencies will become worthless in an instant. For example, in 1993, 150,000 Zimbabwean dollars could buy a villa in the capital city of Harare, but by 2009, 150,000 Zimbabwean dollars could only buy a roll of toilet paper. Encrypted virtual currencies, such as Bitcoin, depend on people's recognition. If people no longer recognize it, it is like a bubble on the water, just like the tulip bubble in 17th century Holland. Once the bubble bursts, it will collapse in an instant, causing millions of people to lose everything. When people recognize it, it is more precious than gold. When people don't recognize it, it is worth less than dirt. F-coin is a heavenly currency. It is not printed by a printing press, but created by each person's words and deeds. You are the printing press of F-coin. Once you have it, financial institutions cannot cheat you, and you don't have to worry about its devaluation. Thieves cannot steal or rob it. Even if it exists in your phone, no trick can take it away, and others cannot use it. Therefore, it cannot be used for loans. Once a person has a certain amount of F-coin, they can go to a paradise on earth, the kingdom of the greatest creator, to live. Everything you need in terms of material goods is provided for you there, including food, clothing, housing, transportation, and even the necessities of life which cover birth, aging, illness, and death. Which currency do you think is more powerful and has a better future? USD, Bitcoin, or F-coin? Do you want to know how to get F-coins? Please refer to Acquiring and Consumption of F-coins. FB 的获取和减号算法. The acquisition and consumption algorithm of the F-coin. Xiefeng. March 30th, 2023. Edited by Peter. If you have acquired 5,000 F-coins, you can enter the paradise on earth, the kingdom of the greatest creator, where basic living conditions are provided for you. Retirement is not a problem. Being a bridegroom every day and a bride every night is not a problem. And you no longer have to worry about food, clothing, shelter, aging, illness, and death. You don't have to worry about unemployment, loneliness, let alone theft or fraud. This place is so beautiful that you'll exclaim, "It's awesome." So, how do you get F-coins? If you distribute the Chat Plains webpage to 10 people, you will get 1 F-coin. If you distribute it to 100 people, you will get 10 F-coins, and so on. If you distribute the 800 values for New Era Human Being 3rd edition to 10 people, you will get 1 F-coin. If you distribute it to 100 people, you will get 10 F coins, and so on. If you make a contribution to Life Genuine International Family Society by donating $5, you will get 1 F coin. If you donate $100, you will get 20 F coins, and so on. If you volunteer for the Paradise on Earth, the kingdom of the greatest creator, you will get 2 F coins for a day's work and 20 F coins for 10 days' work. If you help outstanding people in various fields, such as scientists, musicians, professors, doctors, thinkers, entrepreneurs, writers, famous craftsmen, singers, and dancers, out of their difficulties in life, you will get 100 F coins for each person you help. If you save someone from the brink of death, no matter for what reason, you will get 100 F coins. If you participate in rescue work in the event of a natural disaster, you will get 2 F coins per day. If you volunteer for no pay, no matter where you are, you will get 1 F coin per day. As long as you provide conclusive evidence, a certificate will be issued to you. With this certificate, when your F coins accumulate to 5,000, you can enter and take pleasure in the Paradise on Earth, the kingdom of the greatest creator. The following are the details of how F coins are consumed. Killing a wild animal, including a wild bird, will consume 1 F coin. Injuring a person will consume 100 F coins. Fighting with someone once will consume 2 F coins. Quarreling with someone once will consume 0.5 F coin. Insulting and framing someone once will consume 5 F coins. If a student reports a teacher, a disciple reports a master, or a child reports a parent, the student, disciple, or child will consume 10 F coins. Stealing someone else's property will consume 2 F coins per time. Raping someone will consume 100 F coins per time. For the above consumption, as long as someone provides evidence, the corresponding amount will be deducted from their heavenly treasure F coins. Once the total number of F coins of a member living in the Paradise on Earth, the kingdom of the greatest creator, below 5,000 due to consumption, they will be immediately expelled from the kingdom of the greatest creator. When they accumulate enough F coins outside the kingdom of the greatest creator, they can return to the kingdom of the greatest creator again. As of March 2031, the above rules for acquiring and consuming F coins will not become outdated, but more detailed rules will be introduced in the future.
对生命禅院 FB 的一点说明
A brief explanation of Life Genuine F coin. Xiefeng, July 17, 2022. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Vision is proportional to one's prospects. Nearsightedness renders the distant future obscure. When our consciousness is confined to the pursuit of immediate material benefits and various disputes and phenomena, we inevitably sacrifice our future welfare. In the not-too-distant future, the number of people surviving on Earth may be fewer than 600 million. Whether we face destruction or continue to live depends on the amount of spiritual and soul wealth each of us possesses. Destruction will lead to reincarnation in the animal world, while survival will allow us to coexist harmoniously with nature and ascend to the heavenly kingdom. Nature is managed by advanced beings, and the birth, development, operation, and demise of things are governed by laws. The Earth will not disappear unless it approaches the long axis of the Taiji ellipsoid. The Earth still has a lifespan of 5 billion years. Its end is far off. To maintain the healthy operation of Earth's life, we need to remove the tumors that damage Earth's life. Human behavior is controlled by consciousness, and consciousness is influenced by the phenomena of the vast universe. Only consciousness that is not controlled by worldly phenomena possesses the attributes of advanced beings. All phenomena are material and fleeting. Material wealth belongs to phenomena, but its essence lies in spiritual and soul wealth. In the future, those who remain on Earth will be the wealthy ones, not in terms of material wealth, but in terms of spiritual and soul wealth. Who are the wealthy in terms of spiritual and soul wealth? Life Genuine F coin can serve as an indicator. The amount of Life Genuine F coin one possesses signifies the amount of spiritual and soul wealth one has. The more F coins one has, the closer one is to being wealthy. Life Genuine F coin has another function. The more F coins one has, the easier it will be to enter the human paradise, the second home. Eventually, one can enter the primary paradise, the 1,000-year world. Life Genuine F coin has 11 components. The purpose of Life Genuine is to revere the greatest creator, revere life, revere nature, and follow the way of nature. Portraits of Life-Genuine mentors, Christ Jesus, Buddha Sakyamuni, and Celestial Laozi. A brief explanation of spiritual and soul wealth. A photo of Xiefeng, the founder of Life-Genuine. The symbol of the new human life mode, the second home. The amount of F-coin. The motto of Chanyuan Celestials. Open the windows, the sunlight and fresh air will come in. Take a broad view. You will see the faraway mountains fresh and green. Stay and study in Life-Genuine. A new life will begin. Your spirituality will grow, and your thinking will transcend the limitations of human nature and ethics. The symbol of the international family of Life-Genuine. An explanation of the nature of F-coins, i.e., the currency of the heavenly kingdom. The serial number of the F-coin. The name or code of the F-coin holder. The shaded area depicts a flat map of the earth. When you possess the Life-Genuine F-coin, a divine lamp will rise in your heart. This lamp will illuminate your path forward. Follow the light, and you will reach your dream destination. Remember, let the dead deal with the affairs of the dead. I wish you to become a super wealthy individual in terms of spiritual and soul wealth.
人生的最高境界
The highest realm of life. Xiefeng, December 18, 2012. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Last night, the west wind withered the green trees. Alone, I ascended the high tower, gazing at the distant road to the end of the sky. The belt of my robe is gradually getting looser, but I do not regret it. It is for him that I've grown pale. Amidst the crowd, searching for him countless times, suddenly I turned my head, and there he was, at the dimly lit crossroads. These are the three realms of life discussed by the great scholar Wang Guowei in his work, Words in the World. At 30, one stands on their own. At 40, they are no longer perplexed. At 50, they understand their destiny. At 60, their ears are obedient. At 70, they follow their heart's desires without overstepping bounds. These are the life realms according to Confucius, the sage of China. Opening up the south wilderness, tending to the simple and returning to the field. Rising early to cleanse the wilderness, carrying the hoe under the moon, diligently working in the early hours, returning with the plow at sunset. Dogs bark deep in the lanes, roosters crow on top of mulberry trees. Picking chrysanthemums by the eastern fence, leisurely seeing the southern mountains. These are the realms of life according to Tao Yuanming. Heavenly realm, human realm, and earthly realm. The realm of gods with goodness, no desires, wisdom, and no illnesses is the heavenly realm. The realm with the 7 emotions, 6 desires, birth, aging, illness, and death, and the troubles of desires is the human realm. The realm of monsters, demons, ghosts, and goblins is the earthly realm. These are the 3 realms of life in Taoism. The desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm represent the worlds inhabited by sentient beings with desires, encompassing lust, emotions, physical desires, and food desires, which belong to the desire realm. The world that transcends desire yet retains material existence and is inhabited by sentient beings with pure physical forms belongs to the form realm. The world inhabited by sentient beings devoid of material substance, existing solely with the 4 mental aggregates of sensation, thought, action, and consciousness, is the formless realm. These constitute the 3 realms of life in Buddhism. Falling leaves fill the empty mountains. Where do I find your footprints? Empty mountains, no one around, the water flows, and the flowers bloom. The vast sky endures through the ages, but the wind and moon only last a moment. These are the 3 realms of life in Zen Buddhism. Satisfying physiological needs, security needs, emotional needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. According to American psychologist Abraham Maslow, these are life realms from low to high. Realms indicate the spiritual and mental heights of a person, reflecting the essence, taste, quality, and value of their life. As the life and life guide in Life-Genuine, what kind of realm do I aim to help the Chanyuan Celestials achieve as the highest in their lives? No debts, owing neither money to anyone nor emotional obligations, going with the flow and living freely. Free from any worries, there are no concerns about sustenance, lodging, travel, or the cycle of birth and death. The mind abides nowhere, holds no attachments, and experiences profound serenity and joy. Without desires or wants, simply flowing with nature, feeling content regardless of location or activity. When the wind rustles through the bamboo leaves no trace. When geese pass over a cold pond, the pond shows no shadow, neither concerned about poverty nor eager for wealth. Non-contention with the world, no judgments or evaluations of the people and the world. As if one is watching the world of mundane affairs like an ant kingdom. Everything follows its nature, naturally, without trying to change anything. Let wolves be wolves and sheep be sheep. Do not try to turn wolves into sheep or sheep into wolves. The course of life. What's it like, I wonder? Perhaps like a wild goose treading snow-mired paths. In passing, it may leave a mark on the mud, but the goose flies on without looking back. Meanwhile, throughout one's life, behold the world of truth, goodness, and beauty. Ignore the phenomena of falsehood, evil, and ugliness. Harmony with heaven, merging with the Tao, uniting with heaven, earth, and all things, without self or form, being flexible, harmonious in stillness and motion, and advancing and retreating effortlessly. Abundant soul wealth, abundant spiritual wealth, and abundant material wealth. Accumulating abundant treasures in heaven, knowing your future is extremely broad and brilliant, understanding that your life's future resides in the picturesque, heavenly high-level space. Strictly adhering to the way of the greatest creator, biting the blue mountain and refusing to let go. Its roots are firmly embedded within the shattered rocks. Despite 1,000 strikes and 10,000 blows, it remains unyielding against the winds blowing from all directions. Regardless of how the wind blows and the waves surge, it's better than taking a leisurely stroll in a courtyard. Above is the highest realm of life I want to guide the Chanyuan celestials to reach. With no debts, no concerns for the future, no desires, non-contention with the world, harmony with heaven, unity with the Tao, 3 types of abundant wealth, treasures in heaven, and strict adherence to the way of the greatest creator. Having a realm indicates that a person tends towards nobility and elegance. Without a realm, a person tends towards vulgarity and coarseness. The higher the realm, the greater the spiritual and mental freedom one gains. The lower the realm, the easier it is for a person to be entangled in worldly matters and deceived by fleeting appearances, resulting in less freedom. Climbing to the highest realm of life, and life is the direction we are striving for and the goal we want to achieve. After 3 years of practice in the second home of life at Chanyuan, we climb to the middle of the mountain. It is certain that as long as we live in the second home for 8 years, 80% of the Chanyuan celestials will surely realize their dreams and achieve their most beautiful ideals. The realm of Chanyuan celestials is very high, and Chanyuan celestials' future of life and life is very beautiful.
简单点再简单点.
Be simpler, much simpler. Xiefeng, June 11th, 2012. Translation edited by Qinyu. A complex mind leads to a complex life. Excessive pursuit, greed, and possession result in dissatisfaction and a rocky destiny. Life is but a journey of the soul through the human world, and in the end, we must disembark. Whether it's against our will or as we wish in the end, it all comes to naught. So, the most beautiful life is a simple life. Since life is a journey, let us enjoy the scenery along the way and travel light. Do not linger on the past landscapes. Better ones lie ahead. Do not regret the sights you have passed, as everything is but a fleeting dream. Live simply, even more simply. Do not burden yourself with weariness, anxiety, and troubles. Do not harbor ambitions and aspirations. Do not seek lasting fame. Do not hope for others to admire you. Discard the idea of having a name. Seek only inner peace and a clear conscience. Do not crave knowledge and learning. Earthworms and little birds live content lives without knowledge or learning. Those who claim to be experts in both Eastern and Western knowledge are fools who do not comprehend the true meaning of life. We aim for joy and happiness at every moment and in every situation. Do not covet material possessions. Do not buy houses, cars, or stash money in banks. Simply have enough to meet your needs, or even better, have nothing at all, like the residents of Life Genuine's second home. They possess nothing but lack for nothing. Do not constantly expect to become a celestial, a Buddha, or reach heaven. Attachment is a hindrance. Live in the present. As long as every present moment is joyful, the ultimate ending will be blissful. True cultivation requires no cultivation. The highest realm of Buddhism is non-practice, and the highest form of martial arts is non-technique. The most refined management is non-management. In heaven, there are no books. Everything in existence, every phenomenon, is the best revelation. Therefore, do not read books all day long, especially complex and burdensome ones, and especially those that encourage the pursuit of success, wealth, and fame. When you are idle and bored, read the little birds and the flowers, read the wind, clouds, rain, and snow. Read the bees and ants, read the bamboo, willow trees, and the small streams. Do not cultivate relationships with people. Do not flatter or fawn over those with power and influence. Do not envy the rich and famous, and do not chase after or imitate celebrities. Live naturally, walk your own path, cultivate your own way, speak your own words, be your own person. Entrust your life to the greatest creator and let the Tao manage your life. Everything else should follow your natural inclinations. Do not pass judgment on others, even if they are demons. Everything in the world has a proper arrangement. The mouth should not despise the anus for being too dirty, and the anus should not be envious of the mouth's nobility. Do not criticize others, for each person has their own life path and unique character and strengths. Speaking ill of others reveals your own inner ugliness. Do not learn too many skills. Having one skill is sufficient. If you lack any skills, possessing a single virtue is enough to lead an easy life, whether it's honesty, diligence, kindness, simplicity, trustworthiness, or sincerity. Life is brief, so why make yourself busy and tired? Avoid extravagance and waste. Do not consume what is unnecessary. Do not indulge in what you don't need. Do not enjoy excessively. Do not crave excessively. Do not pursue excessively. Salted turnips and steamed bread of corn are good food. A bamboo fence and a thatched cottage together offer beautiful scenery. Even Taoist temples and monasteries are not as beautiful. Where roosters crow, dogs bark, and children play, that is the beauty of life. We should not overly discuss cultivation. It's a form of attachment. Avoid traveling far and wide, seeking high-level masters to discuss how to cultivate. Many methods of cultivation are, in reality, costly and laborious. Do not harbor delusions of acquiring supernatural powers and special abilities through cultivation. Instead, work diligently and live honestly. Cultivate your own way and earn your own keep. Do not pray for windfalls from the sky. Live simply, even more simply. Learn to enjoy a simple life and do not let desires, anger, or ignorance pull you around. Take things as they are, associate with others by following predestined relations, act in accordance with nature, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. Don't stir up trouble without reason and don't seek trouble when there is none. Calm yourself and enjoy your life. Spend more time with the sunrise, the sunset, and the bright moon. Communicate more with flowers, plants, insects, and birds. Sing, dance, walk, and play to your heart's content. Chanyuan celestials bask in the radiance of the greatest creator. Jesus Christ, Buddha Shakyamuni, Laozi, and sages throughout history accompany us. Your life, including your sustenance, clothing, housing, and every aspect of life, is under the protection of the divine. Do not worry about anything, do not be afraid, do not be anxious, do not prepare for the future. As long as you understand that clear water is more important than strong coffee or other beverages, and as long as you keep the water, everything else will come. Your wishes will eventually be fulfilled, and your ideals will certainly be realized.
共产主义社区第二家园的八大特征。
8 characteristics of the communist community, the second home created by Life Genuine. Xiefeng. February 27, 2013. Translation edited by Qinyu. The communist community, the second home, created by Life Genuine, has been in existence for nearly 4 years and has now entered a stable and harmonious phase. Although it is not yet perfect, It is approaching the ideal state of life that humanity has dreamt of for thousands of years. This is humanity's blessing and the hope for its development. The establishment of the communist community, the second home, is inspired by the teachings of Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, the sage Laozi, Prophet Muhammad, and the wisdom of sages throughout history. It is from the description of ancient Greek philosophers like Plato and the Chinese sage Confucius. It is rooted in the thoughts of the founders and pioneers of communist ideology such as Marx, Engels, Lenin, and Mao Zedong. It is also influenced by the ideals of utopian socialist thinkers and practitioners like Owen, Saint-Simon, and Fourier. Furthermore, it originates from the desires of the hardworking, kind, simple, sincere, and trustworthy masses. It represents the culmination of over 2,000 years of human experiments with utopian communities. Today, all of this is not only put into practice but has also succeeded. The success of the communist community, the second home, is not accidental. It is the crystallization of the thoughts of all human sages, the result of countless Communist Party members dedicating their lives to it. The road to this success is paved with blood, tears, humiliation, and hardship. Today, the hard work of our predecessors has blossomed into beautiful flowers. We should cherish it and protect it with our lives. Summarizing our thoughts and experiences, the current communist community, the second home, possesses the following 8 characteristics. Taking the way of the greatest creator and implementing holographic management. The way of the greatest creator, also known as the way of nature, is our guiding principle. We always follow the principles of nature. It is also the scientific approach to development. Holographic management means no management because the highest form of management is non-management. Everything follows the principles of nature, and our management is entirely human-centered. This is why you won't find any leaders, offices, or managers in our community. Everyone is a manager, and everyone is a master of the community. There are no hierarchies or ranks. Everyone is equal, possessing nothing yet owning everything. Members who join the communist community, the second home, have nothing to call their own. Personal belongings and money are no longer private. Everything belongs to the community. Each person can enjoy everything the community has to offer as needed, without extravagance or waste. Everyone working to the best of their abilities, asking for and taking only what they need. Everyone has different abilities and strengths. In the second home, as long as each member puts in their best effort every day and does the work they are capable of, it is enough. We do not require uniformity, and no one is forced to do tasks beyond their capabilities. Everyone's needs are met without any allocation issues. Having no marriages or nuclear families. Marriage and families are the breeding grounds for selfishness, sources of distress and pain, and the root causes of endless resource exploitation and waste. Therefore, there is no marriage or families in the communist community, the second home. The young being well educated and the old being looked after properly. All aspects of a member's life, including food, clothing, shelter, transportation, and healthcare from birth to death, are taken care of by the community. The elderly are looked after by the community, and the children are raised and educated by the community. Parents no longer worry about their children, and children no longer worry about their parents. Politics and religion are not practiced. The communist community, the second home, refrains from engaging in any political activities or participating in any religious rituals. All our activities are guided by the principles of nature. We do not practice idol worship, nor do we celebrate holidays or perform rituals with political or religious connotations. We cherish nature and strive to protect insects, birds, animals, and the environment. All members engaging in physical labor regardless their backgrounds. Once someone enters the communist community, the second home, everyone is equal. There are no hierarchies, and we don't care about a person's background. Whether you are a PhD or illiterate, rich or poor, scholar or shepherd, high-ranking official or commoner, male or female, white or black, everyone becomes a laborer. Regardless of one's background, we only value the present moment. Being flexible, acting tactfully, and bending according to the situation. The community operates on the principle of least resistance, where all affairs should be handled flexibly in accordance with the principle of keep the main but change the others according to the situation. Dharma sets no rules. It is ever-changing. In order to enrich our cultural life, enhance our inner quality, and cultivate a love for life, a love for living, and a love for life, our residence is frequently changing, work shifts as needed, personnel are constantly changing, and recreational and gaming activities are ever evolving. This keeps our community in a state of constant change, making it impossible for two people to stay together for an extended period. Everyone is always in a novel environment. This approach prevents the maximization of entropy, thus preventing stagnation. It stimulates everyone's interests and thinking abilities. This approach also prevents the formation of cliques and warlordism, ensuring the eventual formation of a harmonious global family. These 8 characteristics are the distinctive markers that set the second home apart from other societal production and living methods. In addition to these, the communist community has many other characteristics. For instance, we do not celebrate birthdays, avoid one-on-one romantic relationships, build the environment into a model of ecological civilization, creating an idyllic living environment, eschew personal worship, speak the truth as it is, have specialized and responsible division of labor in all tasks, allowing people to freely choose work according to their strengths and interests, avoid complaining and sharing grievances, refrain from discussing others' personal matters and privacy, avoid comparisons, maintain transparency in all matters, abstain from mystical or secretive practices, and more. We have paved a sunny path for humanity in the communist community, the second home. We have essentially achieved a state where everyone is happy, joyful, free, and blessed. The secret to elevating life to the realms of heaven, becoming celestial and Buddha, lies here.
第二家园混沌管理简论
The second home's holographic management briefing. Xiefeng, January 21st, 2013. Translation edited by Qinyu. The second home is established to introduce a new way of life for all of humanity. One of the primary objectives of this new lifestyle is to foster harmonious coexistence among individuals, within society, and with the natural world. It envisions a united global family living in peace, free from international conflicts, regional tensions, ethnic disputes, religious and political divisions, as well as the troubles, pain, and unhappiness often associated with marriage and family life. Additionally, it aims to significantly reduce crime, eliminate unemployment, famine, environmental pollution, and other global challenges. To achieve this ideal, the key component is the worldwide implementation of holographic management. The essence of holographic management is non-management, which means minimizing human intervention and instead adopting Tao management, following the way of nature rather than human will. The universe is holographic. A change anywhere affects the whole. Any changes in the universe impact the Earth, and any changes on Earth affect all of humanity. There are no isolated events or isolated phenomena. For example, if one person gets angry, that anger will affect their family members, who will, in turn, affect their co-workers, and those co-workers will affect their nation and country. This nation and country will impact the entire world. From this, we can deduce that one person's anger has an effect on all of humanity. Thus, any event that occurs worldwide will have a butterfly effect on all of humanity and the Earth. This implies that the actions and words of an individual, a family, a nation, a political party, a religion, or a country affect all of humanity. There is no separation between internal and external, no concept of not influencing each other, no such thing as private matters. Everything is a public matter. All internal affairs are global affairs. The Earth is a whole, and local events have global implications. Just as an individual is a whole, and even if a splinter pierces their toe, it will have consequences throughout their body. To ensure that all of humanity lives a happy life, global holographic management must be implemented. Holographic management is the most ideal form of governance in theory, but can it work in practice? The second home, created by Life Chanuan, is here to experiment with this mode of management. If this management style proves effective in the second home, then holographic management can be promoted worldwide, ultimately achieving global holographic management. Holographic management comprises 8 major connotations: achieving resonance between humanity and nature, becoming one with the Tao, and aligning with the will of the greatest creator. Embracing adherence to natural laws, operating based on scientific principles, engaging in production and lifestyle guided by the philosophy of scientific development, and minimizing human interference to the greatest extent possible. Maximizing the reduction of laws, regulations, and rules, allowing qualities like truth, goodness, beauty, love, trust, and sincerity to naturally blossom from the heart, revealing one's Buddha nature. Eliminating the soil that gives rise to private ownership, the family, and marriage. Promoting the concept of a global family, where all of humanity lives a life like that of the second home, sharing resources and dissolving political parties, religions, and countries to promote ethnic integration. Ensuring that every member of society becomes a creator of soul, spiritual, or material wealth. Minimizing the number of intermediaries, especially reducing administrative personnel. Shifting from management to service, where all managers become ordinary servants without any special privileges or treatment. Everyone contributes according to their abilities and receives according to their needs. Avoid extravagance and waste, relying on self-awareness and voluntary participation without administrative orders. No one can impose their will on others for any reason or excuse. Individuality and commonality harmoniously unite, aiming to allow individuality to fully blossom while maintaining perfect alignment between individuality and commonality. At the macro level, it forms a cohesive whole, while at the micro level, it consists of independent individuals. Everything unfolds with a focus on people, rather than for a specific goal, ideology, economic interest, noble ideal, or moral height. The aim is to allow people to savor the process of life, to enjoy the pleasures of childhood during childhood, the interests of youth in their youth, the passions of adolescence in their adolescence, the subtleties of middle age in their middle years, and the leisurely pursuits of old age in their later years. Life should not be a hardship driven by fixed objectives. The prerequisite for implementing holographic management is that individuals must first undergo soul purification. Without soul purification, holographic management cannot be implemented. Soul purification is a complex and challenging endeavor. If this endeavor is not executed correctly, so-called holographic management will remain an illusion and never become a reality. Based on the practice of over 3 years in the second home, it is evident that holographic management is not an unattainable fantasy but an ideal that can be realized. All of humanity can realize its most beautiful ideals as long as society and all of humanity provide understanding, support, and patience while they wait. Holographic management is humanity's way forward. There is no other way. Let's calculate the value of 1 crown of Chanyuan celestial name. Xiefeng. September 28, 2011. Translation edited by Qinyu. This is a matter of values. Some people consider money worthless, while others see it as essential for life. Some view friendship as spiritual wealth, while others see it as a tool for personal gain. Some see labor as a source of happiness, while others see it merely as a means of survival. There are also those who underestimate or belittle the value of labor. The number words for celestial titles are not expressed using one or a few, but rather 1 crown of celestial or a few crowns of celestials. Therefore, the meaning of 1 crown of celestial in the title is 1 Chanyuan celestial name. Now, let's calculate the value of the name of a Life-Chanyuan member. First, what is the purpose of a person's lifelong efforts? According to the famous American psychologist Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, human beings strive to fulfill various needs throughout their lives. These needs include physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization. Physiological needs are the most basic human needs, such as food, clothing, shelter, transportation, and sexual life. Safety needs include job and personal safety, life stability, protection from diseases and disasters, and having a secure future. Social needs mainly refer to the desire for care and support from family, groups, friends, and colleagues. Esteem needs involve the desire for self-respect, a sense of accomplishment, and acknowledgement from others. This includes aspiring for wealth, status, power, and a favorable reputation, aiming to earn respect and recognition while avoiding being disregarded or underestimated by society. Self-actualization needs are the highest level of human needs. They involve the desire to complete work that corresponds to one's capabilities, to fully unleash one's potential in the workplace, to become the expected person, to ultimately strive for perfection, to experience the highest state of beauty in life, and to elevate oneself into a celestial being. Now, let's consider how many people have truly fulfilled their physiological, safety, social, esteem, and self-actualization needs. Most people struggle to fulfill even their basic physiological needs, let alone their higher-level needs. Only individuals like presidents, billionaires, and Nobel Prize winners can be said to have achieved these five needs from a worldly perspective. How much effort does it take to become a president, a billionaire, or a Nobel Prize winner? Or in other words, what is the value of being a president, a billionaire, or a Nobel Prize laureate? Alternatively, how much money does it take to purchase the titles of president, billionaire, or Nobel Prize laureate? Would it be unreasonable to assume that it takes $100 million to acquire the titles of president, billionaire, or Nobel Prize laureate? Now, let's look at Life-Genuine members living in the Life-Genuine second home. Each member has their physiological needs fully satisfied. They have no issues with food, clothing, shelter, transportation, and sexual life. They have job security, occupational safety, life stability, and low exposure to diseases and disasters. They have a secure and stable future. As for social and esteem needs, Life-Genuine members live in a community of hardworking, honest, sincere, and trustworthy people. They spend their days in a harmonious and loving atmosphere, sharing meals, living spaces, and working together. They respect and care for each other, never hurting or quarreling with one another. No one will keep lost articles found on the roadside, doors will not need to be locked at night, and everyone can enjoy life without concerns about personal conflicts. Therefore, Life-Genuine members have their social and esteem needs fulfilled. Have the Chanyuan Celestials in the community satisfied their highest self-actualization needs? Absolutely. Within the community, Chanyuan Celestials fully unfold their true selves, living freely and independently. There is no one to manage or supervise them. They experience the utmost beauty and essence of life day and night. Moreover, they have the prospect of reaching the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium celestial island continents, where they continually encounter the peak experiences of life. They live in a beautiful and serene natural environment, surrounded by a humanistic environment that values truth, goodness, beauty, love, trust, and sincerity. Life here is beautiful, leisurely, and joyful, and individuals are realizing their true selves. It reminds me of the profound words of the famous philosopher Nietzsche, "Become who you are." The Chanyuan Celestials living in the second home have not only discovered themselves but have also become individuals with complete, independent consciousness and integrated personality. It can be said that Life-Genuine members in the kingdom of the greatest creator, which is a truly communist society, the Life-Genuine second home, have achieved more satisfaction in the five major human needs than presidents, billionaires, and Nobel Prize winners. So, let's calculate. How much is the name of one crown of Life-Genuine celestial worth?
八大人生观解析及禅院草的人生观
Analysis of 8 major life views and the life view of Chanyuan Celestials. Xiefeng, January 12, 2012. Translation edited by Qinyu. A life view is a fundamental perspective and attitude that a person holds about the value, meaning, purpose, and the chosen path to achieve those purposes in life. Life views vary greatly, and in the current state of human society, there are roughly 8 major life views. Materialistic satisfaction life view. This life view believes that life is primarily about maximizing material gains and pleasures, while considering everything else as intangible and unprofitable. Consequently, they prioritize the pursuit of material benefits and pleasures as life's highest principle. They spare no expense and employ any means to chase and acquire wealth. Their entire existence centers around the relentless pursuit of financial riches. Their approach to learning, work, thinking, communication, and relationship management solely hinges on whether it can bring them material gain. The sayings, "people die for wealth, birds die for food, and money makes the world go round," epitomize this life perspective. Physiological satisfaction life view. This life view focuses on fulfilling basic physiological desires, including food, clothing, shelter, transportation, and sexual pleasure. Those who adhere to this perspective spend their entire lives striving to maximize their quality of life in these aspects, emphasizing the importance of enjoying good food, dressing well, residing in comfortable accommodations, having reliable means of transportation, and fulfilling their sexual desires. The saying traveling 1,000 miles for an official position is all for good food and clothing exemplifies this view. Pursuit of fame and reputation life view. This life view believes that one's existence should be marked by leaving behind a name of honor. Therefore, those who hold this perspective highly value their personal integrity, reputation, and public recognition. Even if they cannot achieve everlasting fame, they are willing to be remembered, whether for good or ill, for thousands of years. Their life's purpose revolves around glorifying their ancestors, seeking glory, and achieving prominence throughout their lifetime. They aim to earn the praise and admiration of others and prioritize their public image over everything else. They are so concerned with their image that they would rather die with honor than live without it. The saying, "A wild goose leaves a voice, a person leaves a name," perfectly captures this life view. Self-centered life view. This life view asserts that the sun is at the center of the universe, the earth is at the center of the solar system, humans are at the center of all living beings, and the self is at the center of human society. Individuals adhering to this view prioritize self-satisfaction and self-improvement. They approach life with self-centeredness and self-interest, making decisions based on whether they benefit personally. This perspective is held by those who proclaim, "All is me, and I am all, and I am my own God." Acceptance of natural destiny. This life perspective believes that everything is predestined, merely acting out scenes in the cosmic drama. Individuals see themselves as mere chess pieces on the greatest creator's chessboard, considering personal endeavors and pursuits as futile. They are encouraged to passively accept their fate, adhering to the belief that there is a time for everything, and everything happens in its own time. Don't force anything when it's not meant to be. This epitomizes the essence of this life view. Human triumphs over destiny life view. This life perspective believes in the superiority of humans among all beings. It asserts that human happiness relies solely on self-creation, rejecting the notion of a savior or divine being in the universe. They actively work to reshape nature to align with human desires, fostering an optimistic and proactive approach to life. This life view is reflected in lyrics like, "There's never been any savior, no gods or emperors. To create human happiness, it's entirely up to ourselves," as sung in the Internationale. Self-sacrificing life view. This life view holds that life's purpose is to serve others and society. Those who embrace it prioritize benefiting sentient beings as their guiding principle. They are entirely selfless, dedicating themselves wholeheartedly to serving others and the public good. They emulate the dedication of the silkworm, spinning till death, and the candle, burning till it turns to ashes and dries up the tears. Individuals embracing this life view exemplify the phrase, "to exhaust oneself in service until death," devoting themselves entirely to guiding all sentient beings, embodying the pinnacle of this life view. Attaining immortality or Buddhahood life view. This life view regards life as illusory and the material world as a mere illusion. Everything in the worldly realm is seen as not worth pursuing. The primary goal in life, according to this perspective, is to elevate oneself and attain supreme enlightenment to reach heaven. As a result, individuals who hold this view are passionate about spiritual practice, cultivation techniques, and the dissemination of spiritual teachings. They are not inclined to marry, start families, or have children, nor do they wish to engage in the creation of the material world. They seek not life but immortality, and they long not for this world but for heaven. They do not have a concept of the greatest creator. Those who say, "Life is like a dream, and the four great elements are all empty," exemplify this life view. Life view of Chanyuan Celestials and Life of Chanyuan. The life view of Chanyuan Celestial is a holographic life view, which encompasses 8 fundamental principles, placing the greatest creator at the center and following the way of Tao, reverence for the greatest creator, life, and nature, walking the way of the greatest creator. The purpose of life is to attain joy, happiness, freedom, and bliss, maintaining an active, positive, and optimistic attitude and emotions. The value and significance of life lies in seeking to become an immortal. Life is considered meaningless if it doesn't lead to the ultimate destination of heaven. Thus, everything is perceived as a game, and only life is real. Taking things as they are, associate with others by following naturally come-and-go relations, act in accordance with our natures, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. Preferring non-ownership, enjoying collective life, considering diligent work as life's top priority, while deeply abhorring laziness, selfishness, greed, possession, jealousy, and mutual comparisons. Regarding marriage and family life as a sea of suffering, Chanyuan celestials choose not to marry or have families. Embracing the motto, the sage is selfless and therefore becomes truly self, Chanyuan celestials consider selfless dedication as their guiding principle. Throughout their lives, they will strive to create the Life-Chanyuan era for humanity, so as to repay the accumulated debts from countless past lives and amassing treasures in heaven. 人生的成功和失败 Contrasting views on life success. Xiefeng, June 20th, 2013. Translation edited by Qinyu. The erroneous life views passed down over thousands of years need to be corrected. Traditionally, it is believed that a successful life means earning a fortune, achieving high official positions, gaining fame, bringing honor to one's ancestors, and being admired by others. In Life-Chanyuan, a successful life means living healthily, peacefully, smoothly, and satisfactorily throughout one's life, always being happy, joyful, free, and blessed. In the past, we believed that in order to lead a happy, joyful, free, and blessed life, certain prerequisites were necessary. The primary condition was to possess wealth, assets, and a substantial material foundation. Simultaneously, one needed to stand out among others, making people around them admire, envy, and look up to them. How could one achieve all of this? Confucianism taught that in books, one can find houses of gold, and in books, one can find faces as fair as jade. To become an extraordinary individual, one had to study diligently and exhaustively. Only through excellence in education can one gain recognition and official positions. Only with fame and authority can one amass wealth, allowing them to accumulate great fortunes. In the Qing dynasty, a virtuous magistrate for 3 years, amassing 100,000 silver taels. Even if one chose the path of an honest official, they could still acquire a substantial sum. However, if someone was even slightly greedy, their earnings over 3 years would surpass 100,000 silvers. At that point, they could have whatever they desired, whether they craved respect, beauty, or even supernatural favors. Nevertheless, does this represent a successful life? Even if it did, how many people could truly enjoy such a life of luxury? Thousands of troops and horses pass a single log bridge, but how many can make it across? Some fall off, get injured, or even drown in the river. Even if they all have managed to cross, they have grown old, their legs weaken, and by the time they reach middle or old age, their happy childhood has been drowned out by books, their beautiful youth gnawed away by books, and their blissful youthful years spent competing in the world of books. Is this what we call a successful life? I consider it the tragedy of life, a failure. After striving and toiling for most of their lives, what do they have to show for it? Not to mention middle age, even in old age, they haven't achieved the wealth, power, fame, gains, or carnal pleasures they idealized. What else can we call this but a failure in life? Therefore, the traditional concepts of success and failure in life are erroneous and must be corrected. Otherwise, the tragedy of life will continue. So, what is the path to a successful life? Childhood should be filled with joy. Youth should be filled with play, fun, and passions. Young adulthood should be filled with dreams and ideals. Middle age should be filled with diligent work. Old age should be filled with leisure and self-care. Reaching the end of life with no regrets, no hates, and no unfulfilled desires, being content and smiling even in the tomb, is an ideal and successful life because it aligns with the way of the greatest creator. Is it possible to achieve this? The answer is, undoubtedly. Where is this path? Answer. It can be found in the second home created by Life Genuine.
生命禅院的返老还童、长生不老观。
Life Genuine's view on rejuvenation and longevity. Xiefeng, July 21st, 2013. Translation edited by Qin Yu. Rejuvenation and longevity, a desire and pursuit that humanity has cherished for thousands of years, from emperors to common people. Qin Shi Huang dispatched Su Fu with 3,000 men and women to the Penglai fairy island in search of the elixir of immortality. It is said that Li Shimin, the Tang dynasty emperor, died after consuming elixirs like elixir of immortality and 5 stones powder. Peng Zhu, a legendary figure, lived for over 800 years and had 50 marriages. In the Bible, Adam lived for over 900 years. Li Qingyun, a Chinese herbalist in the late Qing dynasty and early Republic of China, lived for 256 years. He had 24 wives and continued teaching at a university even when he was 200 years old. Both the New York Times and Time magazine reported on his longevity. Ordinary people hope for a long life, while practitioners aspire to have forever white hair and youthful appearances, with an air of immortality and profound wisdom. Everything has a natural lifespan, and scientific research indicates that human cells undergo approximately 50 divisions from conception, with each division taking around 2.4 years. As a result, the natural lifespan of a human is estimated to be 120 years. Scientists at the University of California, Berkeley, have identified a longevity gene that can reverse cell degeneration related to aging by extending the cell division cycle. If the cell division cycle could be extended to 5 years, people might live to be 250 years old, while a 10-year cycle could lead to a lifespan of 500 years, and a 20-year cycle could result in living to 1,000 years. And if the cell division cycle extends indefinitely, it could potentially lead to immortality. Scientists have discovered a key area in the brain, the hypothalamus, which controls the aging process. By altering the signals sent to the hypothalamus, it is possible to slow down the aging process, allowing people to remain youthful. They have also found that when the pituitary gland shrinks, the human body rapidly ages. Restoring an aging pituitary gland to a youthful state could stimulate the body's neurological, endocrine, and metabolic systems to function normally, thereby delaying the aging of the body's joints and organs and achieving the ideal of rejuvenation, longevity, and immortality. To this end, the International Longevity Association and the United Nations Institute for Ecological Security have devoted themselves to researching anti-aging substances. After 43 years of research involving 107 experts, they have successfully extracted the miraculous anti-aging substance, the HD element, which rapidly restores the pituitary gland to its youthful state. In ancient legends, there was a woman who, due to her husband's prolonged absence, could not bear the loneliness and engaged in an affair with an elderly servant in her household. However, the elderly servant, being old and frail, struggled to satisfy the woman. In response, she gave the elderly servant a family secret formula called the elixir of the aged servant. After consuming it, the elderly servant underwent a transformation and became young again, eventually fathering 2 children with the woman. However, when the truth came to light, she killed the elderly servant, only to discover that his bone marrow was plump and his bones were strong. Long ago, there is a legend about a young woman who, carrying a wooden stick, was seen chasing an elderly man with snow-white hair along the road. Bystanders were outraged and tried to intervene, only to discover that the young woman claimed she was chasing her own son. It turned out that this young woman was actually over 100 years old. She had been consuming a type of pill made from a family secret recipe, which preserved her youthful appearance. Despite being well over a century old, she remained as agile as a swallow and retained her graceful figure. Her son, on the other hand, repeatedly refused to heed her advice and declined to take the pill she had prepared. As a result, by the time he was in his 70s, he had turned completely gray and aged significantly. This made the elderly woman quite angry, and she often chased after her son, pressuring him to take the pills. These pills were later known as immortal lesson pills. They were later renamed the Immortal Mother's Aging Discipline Pills and, After being further refined by the renowned physician Hua Tuo, they were given the names longevity and vigor pills and longevity and vigor kidney nourishing pills when they were adopted by the imperial court's medical establishment. British and Russian scientists believe that aging is a disease and, like myocardial infarction and cancer, it is curable. They suggest that humans could live up to 1,000 years. Telomeres, which control the number of times cells divide, are a key factor. Telomeres are repeated DNA sequences at the ends of chromosomes. With each cell division, telomeres lose approximately 30 to 200 base pairs. Typically, a human's telomeres have around 10,000 base pairs. When telomeres can no longer shorten, the cell can no longer divide. If telomeres could be prevented from shrinking, cells would continue to divide and replicate, just like cancer cells, and people could potentially live indefinitely. Life-genuine values hold that humans are created by the greatest creator and human lifespans are predetermined. The pursuit of physical immortality goes against the will of the greatest creator because the most just aspect of life on earth is the inevitability of physical death. It's only in the face of death that all individuals are equal. If people were able to achieve immortality, many injustices in the world would persist indefinitely. Emperors, generals, talented individuals, beauties, high-ranking officials, distinguished people, and ordinary people will all eventually die, and only then could new and continuously evolving phenomena emerge. It is through this cycle that people find hope in life. Life is finite, and seeking the infinite in life is as futile as looking for fish on a tree. Our sole endeavor should not be the pursuit of physical immortality, but rather to live our limited lives well, vibrantly, wholly, flavorfully, and without regrets. Not pursuing physical immortality doesn't mean we should not pursue the eternality of life. Human life consists of both physical and spiritual aspects, with the body serving as the vessel for the spirit. The body is mortal, but the spirit is eternal. Therefore, life-genuine celestials do not seek physical immortality. Instead, we seek the eternality of the spirit. We don't invest time, energy, and resources in the physical body, but instead cherish the precious time of our finite lives to nourish the spirit. Because our body cannot reach heaven, only our spirit can reach heaven. Pursuing the eternality of the spirit doesn't mean we don't value the physical body. The body, as the vessel of life, requires maintenance, much like a vehicle or a ship. Therefore, we prioritize the health of the body, we value well-being, and our ideal is for every individual to live 120 years free from illness, free from disasters, and free from pain. After living to 120 years, we utilize the Chanyuan meditation method to discard the vessel of life, the physical body, and joyfully move to the other shore, heading towards the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, or the Elysium Islands continent. In this world, I will strive to ensure that Chanyuan celestials achieve the goal, to enjoy love until the age of 100 and live to the age of 120. So, how can we achieve the goal of enjoying love until 100 and living to 120, and then leave the vessel and go to a higher level of life? Please read the next article, The Transcendence of Time and Space.
重建人类价值观和生产生活秩序遐想
Envisioning the reconstruction of human values and production life order. Xiefeng, January 16, 2015. Translation edited by Qin Yu. The history of human society has been a tale of suffering and tears. 95% of the people who have lived on this planet, both in the past and today, have experienced distress, pain, sorrow, anxiety, and fear. This is clear evidence that the previous human value systems and the order of production and life have had issues. It is now time for all of humanity to ponder whether we can rebuild human values and the order of life. Below are my thoughts, intended to stimulate thinking and serve as a reference. The United Nations Secretary-General should act as the global president, and the United Nations Charter should replace the individual constitutions of nations. National borders should disappear, allowing people to move freely worldwide, promoting the fusion of cultures and nations. The global president must be unmarried,